Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you on a Tuesday, January 14th. We are almost halfway through the dreaded month of January. Just the weirdest month. Everyone's struggling a little bit to get off the ground, man. I've gotten so many DMs this week from people that have thanked us for being on the air, and they're going through some hard times, and I love those messages. I do. I just wish everyone wasn't struggling right now, certainly. But we are here. We're happy to be here. Looking forward to our show today. Very, very excited and nervous about the program today. We'll tell you why in a moment. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. It is cold outside today.
Coldy.
And I get it. We're not in Canada or Minnesota or Maine, but for San Diego, I saw my car temperature gauge dipped slightly into the 20s on the way to work, just for a moment. But
yeah,
still low 30s most of the way. That technically, everybody, is freezing.
Yeah, technically it's freezing here in San Diego this morning. It's always freezing in the studio, even in June. It's butt cold in here, as it always is. But, like yesterday was one of those days. My hands were so cold, I didn't even want to,
use your hands.
Use my hands. Well, I had an hour to myself. And I was like, nope, hands are too cold. Not doing it. My hands are freezing. There's no way. You guys catch my drift?
Washing the dishes.
Nope.
No. Folding laundry.
Nope. Folding laundry would be nice.
That would warm. That would be a good plan.
Yeah. My hands were too cold. So I just said, forget it. I'm out. I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
It's freezing. I have my hands in my pockets right now.
Don't let minor obstacles stand in the way of your life goals.
There's nothing minor about my obstacle, Ben, all right? Just so you know. It's very, very, very cold. Very cold. In my house, I've taken to wearing a beanie around my home. You know, with Ma in her kerchief and I in my cap is a real thing in my home.
Are you
now.
one of those houses that isn't allowed to turn on the heat?
Correct.
Okay. Ever.
Beatrice in the chat says, now what if Roki was listening to this?
She makes a good point.
You do make a good point. I guess we do need to mind our P's and Q's a little bit more. But, hey, listen, big Roki news yesterday. I don't know about you guys. My stomach is in knots. It's giving me bubble guts. I am terrified. We will break down all of the Roki news that we saw yesterday, and there was plenty to get to yesterday. But how are you feeling, Benjamin? That's the one thing I want to know.
I've been kind of just wavering between okay and on the verge of not okay. The voice sounds a little bit better. But yeah, just had a little cough last night. Couldn't quite shake it. It's been over a week now.
Now, you're wearing your shirt that our buddy Craig got you for the Christmas and holiday extravaganza. My pal Craig Glover, man, just the most generous dude alive. Got you a shirt. He says, because you say however a lot, he got your shirt that just says, however, Ben Higgins. Now, which shirt do you like better? Because I do have, if you wanted to, wanted to wear the mesh, you could, because I do have it on me.
No, I can still remember the feeling and how tight it was under the arms here. Kind of chafing underneath.
So if you missed it yesterday, Ben lost a bet. Well, it wasn't a bet, because typically in the radio business, you'll hear a show be like, hey, Paulie lost a bet. Right. It's fake. They plan it beforehand. It's ridiculous. This was pick'em. We picked the games, and the loser had to wear a mesh shirt. So this was not a staged bit or anything like that. Loser wins. If it were me, I would have been in it. Paulie would have worn it. It just happened to be Ben. And so he put on that mesh shirt and wore it for an hour yesterday. And I will say, I know you were nervous about it. The pictures that were circulating, I don't know, 15 straight hours are fantastic. It's going to live forever. But what it did is it catapulted you even into more legendary status.
Well, I will say that as much as I demanded that everyone just not spread it all over the internet, you didn't follow my wishes, and I got several screenshots that were circulated of me yesterday.
Anything from your mom?
Well, my mom actually did text me and said, "I know that you were horrified by having to wear that mesh shirt, but you actually looked pretty cute in it." And I said, "Well, that's very nice and a little disturbing, but
it is.
But thank you for the compliment. You guys were pretty nice about it. Most people are actually fairly nice about it. They said, "Hey,
it looked good.
Hey, you lost weight. You look pretty good." I did get one. I got one mean comment.
Now, all right, number one. It surprises me that there was only one.
I mean, I got some silly comments.
Yeah, some silly ones like, "Oh, my eyes, my eyes."
I got
right.
one that I registered, at least in my brain, as mean-spirited.
All right, let's hear it.
It was from, should I say who it's from?
Yes. You put it out there.
At KAK584.
CAC584.
Yeah. And he said, Ben Higgins should check his estrogen levels. I thought, well, that's kind of mean.
Fairly clever.
It's not that clever. It's just
research.
It's just kind of mean. I thought.
Pretty clever. Yeah, I guess that's fairly mean. Fairly. I thought you looked good.
I looked okay. I mean, could be better.
Could
definitely
could
be worse.
Be better. Could be worse.
Could have gone either way.
Kind of the
boobs.
Kind of the story of all of us. Could be a little better. Could be a little worse.
I thought they were more like pecs.
It really
like.
It did. It pinched them in. It was like form fitting. They make. So I didn't know this, but and I don't have these, but I see all the time. I wonder why. Probably my algorithm. It's like, hey, get rid of your man boobs with this T-shirt, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Then they have pants that like lift your butt cheeks.
I see those all the time. Mott and bow.
Yeah.
Those pants that raise your butt up a little bit.
Yeah, it lifts your butt, and then you. But see, like, women wear all kinds of things, Spanx and whatnot, and yoga pants do a good job at concealing. I did see a man recently. I'm not kidding. I can't remember where I was. It was with Hannah somewhere, and I went like this. I went, oh, he's in yoga pants. Man, walking around, not in like, because Paulie and I will wear when we go to fantasy camp. It's cold. In the morning, you wear those like tights. Fernando wears them. Manny wears them. They're like compression pants. You wear them when you play basketball, whatever.
That's just what guys call yoga pants.
Well, so they're not. They're thinner. They are.
Oh yeah, you would never wear.
You couldn't wear around. Just them.
Just those in a T-shirt walking around.
Maybe that's the next bet.
Women can wear yoga pants and a T-shirt or a hoodie or something.
But we were somewhere recently, and an older gentleman, walked by, and he was wearing yoga pants, and it jarred me. And I go, Hannah, look, he's got yoga pants. She's like, so? I'm like, what do you mean, so? Men don't walk around in yoga pants ever. I've never seen a man walk around in yoga pants. Have you?
I don't know. Is that just a function of how yoga pants fit and, the given equipment for guys versus girls? And
no, I mean, it looked like he was trying to like hold it all together, and he had these pants on. I thought, oh, okay, well, that's a new one for me. I haven't seen it yet. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Dominic says compression pants is like saying a doll is an action figure. I get it. But they do serve a purpose. And it's to keep you warm, keep your legs warm and loose and all that. And honestly, I bought some years ago because, well, I saw Fernando Tatis Jr. wore them, and I thought it looked cool. That's why I bought them. I'll tell you straight away.
That's why athletes make so much money.
That's exactly why they make so much
advertisements, because, hey, I'll buy something if my favorite athlete is wearing it because it looks cool.
1,000%. I mean, 1,000%. That's why I bought them.
I wear them on Tuesday nights for basketball because the gym that we play in, it's Alliant University. They're the big, like an airplane hangar type gym. It's either an oven in the summer or it's ridiculously cold this time of year. And so you put them on because I refuse to play basketball or run or do anything where I'm going to sweat in pants, in sweats even.
Sweats, yeah.
Like I don't feel comfortable wearing sweats running around and exercising.
Oh yeah, and I can't wear shorts. I don't wear shorts. Men should never be seen in shorts as far as I'm concerned.
False.
Ever. Never. There's no reason unless you are tan or have nice hairy legs and they're muscular.
Big calves.
Yeah. But for the most part, I never need to see a man in shorts. If you're swimming, okay, sure, it's fine. If you're going for a swim, absolutely. But a man walking around in shorts will always be weird to me. And I say it because
I think you're.
I'm disgusting in shorts. I'm not great in pants. I am disgusting in shorts. Disgusting. I don't even wear them around the house. I'm always in pants. Always. You're more likely to see me lounging around my house in khakis than you would to see me in a pair of shorts. It's just true.
Well, for me, the bottom line, KAK584, is that I have worked very hard the last couple of years to get to the level that I would call dad bod. And I think I am now at least dad bod. Yeah. I'm okay with that. I know I'm never getting to svelte or ripped or jacked, but dad bod I can live with, and I think I'm there. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're no longer morbidly obese.
Right.
Like you were.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's weird to go back and see the old pics of you. It's like I didn't even.
I almost want to just get rid of them. Like,
no, I think you keep them. I think you keep them forever.
Before and after.
Now, if it went the other way and you were real skinny when we met and then you ballooned up.
Like, no more pictures.
No more pictures, right? This is actually good. Like, oh, man, look what a sack of S I used to look like, and look at me now. You look fantastic.
We have a very special guest on the program today. We've teased it, but we'll let you know what's coming up on the program. Obviously, a lot of Roki Sasaki talk as well. Take our first time out, check traffic with Kelly Danick, and we will be off and running here on a Tuesday with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
One week from today, we will be broadcasting live from the Peoria Sports Complex. Now, it's not spring training yet. It's fantasy camp week next week, and if you are not familiar with our week there or new to the program, it really is a lot of fun. Paul and Woods actually play with the fantasy campers, games every single day. They have a lot of fun. I go and I moderate one of the panels this year. They've got talking to the Cy Young Award winners,
nice.
The living Cy Young Award winners for the San Diego Padres. But there are so many, Padres legends who are on hand, and just about every single one of them will stop by our table, which is right outside the Padres clubhouse in the inside the building. It's a little different than spring training. We have a little more unfettered access to the compound during fantasy camp week.
I was telling my wife yesterday, actually the day before, about just how fun, she knows how fun it is. And it's hard on her, man. I leave for a week. She's got the 2 little demon seeds at home, and I'm gone for a week, but she totally gets it now. Sixth year we've gone. And I told her, I go, the difference between us there and the difference between us at spring training is so otherworldly. Like when we get to spring training a few weeks later, we'll be on the patio. I'm like, I'm going to go grab a coffee. And then, I can't. You can't go in there while spring training is going on. I can't
walk into the clubhouse, grab some
I can't go
sweatshirts.
Make a yogurt parfait while Manny and Toddy, it's off limits to me and us. But at fantasy camp, you feel like a big leaguer. So you're in your locker, which is like Manny's locker, with your feet up, oh, this is the life. Those guys, honestly, they're so well taken care of. They should never complain about anything ever. The fields are immaculate. Everything is perfect. Food, everything you can imagine. I never want to hear those guys complain.
You
It's
got
so good.
you got Joe Musgrove's espresso machine in the locker room there. It's
You got Heath Bell's cold brew machine. I mean, there's all kinds of
Oh yeah, it's on tap.
Yeah, on tap.
It's great.
It's wild.
But
man.
I think the best part is that we get to broadcast indoors as opposed to outdoors because we looked at the forecast.
It's going to be.
We think it's cold here today. It's going to be even colder in the mornings.
In the 30s.
In Arizona next week. 20s and 30s when you get up. So it's definitely an advantage to be broadcasting inside rather than outside.
It's just it's a testament to how well they've done the job there at Fantasy Camp that you have people coming back now for their 6th year and just can't ever fathom not doing it. And we have a lot of fun, obviously.
Our first year there was like 19 guys.
Yeah, dude.
We barely had enough for
two teams.
And now they've gone every year since then. That was 2019. And I think they have 8 teams this year. Like over 80 people.
That is bananas. Bananas. And the stories that you get from the old Padres guys. And they're loose and laid back and having fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think you will. We had a great time last year. It's so nice adding Benny to the mix. It's just going to be a blast.
I'm going to be missing a lot of the farmers this week, next week, just to be there. Back in time for the final round on Saturday.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Looking forward to it. It's not a sacrifice. I had a lot of fun last year. It was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, you did.
All right, here's what we got. Here's what we
did. Yeah, you did. You had a lot of fun.
Here's what we've got. And usually I'll start with the beginning, but let me start with the end because, as we've mentioned a couple of times, we have a really special guest coming in studio in our 9 o'clock hour today. I see in our chat, Andros says, anyone used to listen to DSC? That was my morning show before I found 97.3. Yeah, DSC, Dave, Shelley, and Chainsaw was really the creme de la creme when it came to San Diego morning radio for decades, honestly. Just 3 absolute legends. Retired, called it a career about, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
And this morning, it is going to be our honor to welcome Dave Rickards into studio just to kind of catch up on where he is and talk about his legendary career in San Diego morning radio and just shoot the breeze for the final hour of the show. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a little nervous about it, actually.
I'm sick to my stomach. Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to it as well.
This is I've got a Mount Rushmore of radio legends that I look up to. He's on it. Howard Stern's on it, who celebrated his 71st birthday yesterday, and my man Mike Reiner from Dallas. Now, I've had the chance to have lunch with Reiner, never met Stern, and now I'll get to do an hour of radio with Dave Rickards. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I mean, this is a hero of mine. This is a guy that took time out of his schedule to meet with me, help me in my career. And I have not gotten to spend a ton of time with him. And so I'm really excited to actually get to. It's like taking ground balls with Manny. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Like I get to sit in a room and do radio with him. I'm elated.
I worked mornings in the same building as Dave, Shelley, and Chainsaw for many years. And while I would talk to Chainsaw occasionally,
sports guys,
I never really spoke to Dave.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I just was intimidated. I just thought, no, I'm just gonna let him. Have his process in the
morning. He's
terrifying.
absolutely terrifying.
It's not just me, then.
No,
right.
It's terrifying.
Not just me. It's you too. All right.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
All right. So that's the final hour of the program. But before that means we got to cram everything in to the first 3 hours, including, as I mentioned, a lot of Roki Sasaki. I would call it news yesterday.
No question.
Wasn't just rumors.
Not speculation.
News.
We had breaking news from reputable sources, the most reputable, Jeff Passan, on the pursuit of Roki Sasaki, which is coming to a conclusion here in the next week or so when he makes his decision, and we are officially down to 3 finalists, according to all of the reports. Confirmed, reported, and confirmed. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the San Diego Padres. Everybody else has been informed. Thank you, but no thank you.
Wow.
We are moving on, and we are down to the last 3 candidates. So we'll discuss, those 3 choices and what Roki Sasaki's probably thinking at this point.
Yeah, we'll talk about how it all kind of unfolded yesterday. One of the more interesting ways I've ever seen it unfold. I kind of liked it. I kind of wish every free agent, I know his is different, international posting. I wish every free agent did this. I really do. I wish that every time a big free agent met with teams and did his tour, the next day it was the Yankees have been informed that they are no longer in play. The Cubs have been informed. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I wish it was always like that.
You are not the team.
You are not it.
You want a posting window for everybody.
Pretty
and then
much.
like a week in which they're allowed to sign.
Correct.
So you know,
yes.
all right, here, you know what? Here's the week that Alex Bregman is going to sign. We know that he's got to make his decision between Thursday and Monday, so we'll find out, what Alex Bregman chooses in the next few days.
The Tigers have been told they're out.
And everyone can have like a different window in the offseason. So, hey, guess who's coming up this week? Oh, Corbin Burns is coming up this week. He's got
Juan Soto.
I think it's badass. I mean, I really do. Like, as much as it's going to hurt if he goes to the place where I think he's going to go, as much as it's going to hurt and sting, I mean, at least you're in it. And even more importantly, if I'm a fan of those teams that got eliminated yesterday, I'm great. I can move on. We just want to know an answer. It's like everything in life. Are you in or are you out? I don't know. I'll let you know. He'll call. No. If you want to be here, be here. If you don't, you got to let me know so I can make other plans. And I think, as much as some of those teams that thought they were in it, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, whatever, bro, at least they have a plan now. At least they know he's not part of the plan, and they can move on and make other arrangements.
Roki Talk coming up here at the bottom of the hour. It's 7 o'clock, 7:20. Don't do this. We had to sift through our multitude of options for Don't Do This morning.
There were like 14 to go through.
A bit of a crazy Monday. We will get into last night's NFL game and the Deion Sanders rumors with the Dallas
speculated yesterday.
They've talked.
Yes.
They've talked. He's interested, so that's going to be dominating the conversation in the NFL. We'll do that in our 7:30 segment. Then in the 8 o'clock hour, we've got Take on Woods. And our Reindl Report moved up a little bit early today to make room for Dave Rickards in the final hour of the program. So that's your menu for a Tuesday on Ben and Woods.
Very excited about it, Benny. Very, very excited about today's show. It's been a long time in the making, man, getting Dave in here. A long time.
Speaking of exciting, I do want to remind everybody the biggest fan contest is returning on January 27th. Our grand prize is a night in the Odyssey Suite with 20 tickets for you and your friends at a future Padres game, an incredible prize. And all you have to do right now is register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan. Then once the 27th hits, listen, we announce names every day at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. for your chance to call in and qualify for the drawing for the grand prize. So a very simple contest with a very, very good prize available.
Yes, sir. And right now we need to talk about Trust and Will. Both of us over the Christmas and holiday vacation sat down at our computers, went to trustandwill.com, and both punched out a will for the first time. It's just something I kind of always knew I needed to do. And I don't know. There were a multitude of reasons why I hadn't done it yet. They made it so easy for me, Ben, and I know they did the same for you. It really blew my mind how easy it was.
Yeah, it's not something you really want to think about,
right?
But this makes it really simple. Get it done quickly. They'll mail you out the documents, and then you get them signed, and you got them. Keep them in your files. You know that your wishes can be followed if you're gone, and really make things a lot easier for your family. Speed up the process of probate court and everything that happens after you pass away. It's like making sure your family doesn't have to go through the added stress. They're already having, a terrible time. Make this a little bit easier.
I mean, you hope that they're having a terrible time without you. But no, listen, if you're one of those people, right, one of the 67% of people that have not gone out and gotten a will, secure your assets, protect your loved ones with Trust and Will. Get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego, all one word, at checkout.
By the way, you can also have directives for, like, if you're just, comatose or it's, what to do with your kids. There's so many things that you didn't think about, and it'll guide you through the process. It is really simple at trustandwill.com. As Wood said, use code San Diego, all one word, at checkout to get that discount, 10% off. All right, we got Roki Sasaki talk coming up next. All the news that happened yesterday with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I got to thinking yesterday that Roki Sasaki isn't just a potentially franchise-changing pitcher. He's also a psychological test for fans because it really kind of reveals your mindset as a fan, whether you have optimism or pessimism toward your team, especially as a Padres fan. I saw Woods been kind of running the pessimistic side, and maybe that's self-preservation and self-protection, but every time I see you commenting, it's usually fearing or expecting the worst.
Correct.
The shoe is about to drop, the bottom's going to fall out of the pursuit, and you're going to ultimately end up disappointed.
I don't like that about myself, but I think, it's wisdom, sports wisdom. It comes from many, many years of getting kicked right in the shins over and over. And, as somebody that, covers this team on a daily basis and, sometimes hears the things we hear, knows the things that we know. You just kind of wait for the inevitable to happen. And I in my private moments, sure, man, I daydream like crazy about what it looks like with Roki Sasaki holding up that jersey next to AJ Preller. I absolutely I do. And I think that's why I have to preserve, I can't, the eternal optimist it's just not how I'm wired. I've seen too much bad stuff, and not just sports. I'm just wired to kind of be like, all right, man. And if it does happen, though, I express jubilation. I'm not one of those guys, Ben, that is like, oh, so let's say I'm negative about it just to protect myself. And then we get Roki. You know what I don't do? I don't go to the next level and say, well, he's probably going to be a bust anyway. I don't do that. It stops there, right? I don't stay pessimistic. If I think we're going to lose that game and I win that game, I don't go, oh, well, we got lucky. No, I'm jubilant and exuberant about that win.
That's true.
I never drag it out. It truly is a psychological cocoon for me.
Paulie, what about you psychologically on the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes? Where do you feel like you fall?
Probably similar to how Woods feels. How can you not daydream, especially on a day like yesterday when you find out you're a finalist? But nothing really changed for me yesterday because the Padres have been finalists since day one. It's been the Padres or the Dodgers. ask anybody in baseball.
See, now that's an optimist. I think that's an optimistic viewpoint right there.
Well,
that you've thought since day one it was the Padres or the Dodgers. They had 20 teams at least that were in on the pursuit. It's certainly
anybody that's been covering it has said it's most likely the Dodgers, but don't count out the Padres. Yeah. Nobody else.
But the reason for that is that, you know, you thought that the Padres were a good landing spot for Roki Sasaki, just as people think the Dodgers would be a good landing spot for Roki Sasaki. That's optimism right there. You think the Padres have done enough and built themselves into a good enough franchise organization that they make a lot of sense for Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, but I feel that way about 7 other teams in Major League Baseball. I do. I feel that way about the Cubs. I feel that way about the Mariners. I feel that way about the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, et cetera, et cetera. I do feel that way. But yes, I think this is a great place to come play baseball. You know, I don't play baseball here, but you know what I'm saying? It's a great place to come and be a part of the scene that Petco Park has turned into. And I would want to be a part of that, certainly. But the thing, Ben, that gets me, and I was talking with some buddies about this yesterday. If you're Roki Sasaki, what is your main motivation in signing here as opposed to Los Angeles, right? If you are him, if you are the guy, and they're looking at you and these are your options, you know, you the person, I can absolutely understand if he picks LA. I understand it. But I also understand why he picks here. But what I'm having a hard time is why would he pick here over there? Does that make sense?
I think it's pretty simple. I think he picks here over there for a couple of reasons. First of all, doesn't want the glare of the Los Angeles market. Okay. That was something that his agent said right away. They backpedaled a little bit on that market size doesn't matter. But clearly, he didn't have a great experience with the media in Japan, and he's not necessarily ready to jump right into one of the, both New York teams are out. Sounds like he's a little hesitant. So that would be one reason to pick San Diego over Los Angeles. I think the other would be your personality as a player is simply, do I want to join in with the other 2 biggest Japanese stars, right, including the by far biggest star on the planet in Shohei Ohtani, and be the third wheel, the sidekick, or do I want to blaze my own trail a little bit more and go up against those guys and turn that into more of a rivalry and make that the defining start of my career.
So let's say our show breaks up and I have the opportunity to go out on my own or work with you and Ben. Or you and Paul. I'm taking that. You know what I mean?
It's not like he's already worked with those guys, other than, the World Baseball Classic was teammates with them, but he's not like rejoining his team. He was also on Yu Darvish's team there. And I don't know the endorsement opportunities, whether, being on Shohei's team does suck a lot of the oxygen out of some of those opportunities.
Or does it help?
Or does it help? That's something for marketing experts and agents to kind of sift through. But quality of life. I like living in San Diego way more than I would like living in Los Angeles. I lived there for 4 years during college. The quality of life here, I think, is much better if that's important to him. The one that I didn't understand was the other finalist, the Toronto Blue Jays, and why they are still on the list, because they didn't seemingly hit a lot of the boxes. Pitching development, farm system, winning. They were a last place team last year. What is it about the Toronto Blue Jays that kept them? They're not on the West Coast. All I can think of is that Toronto it's a very international city. Yeah. And it's great city. Somewhere you feel like if you're coming from another country, you'd probably feel pretty comfortable. The fact that Toronto is a finalist actually made me more optimistic about the Padres' chances, because that tells me that his quality of life and how comfortable he is pretty high on his level of wishes. If he kept Toronto in there all the way to the end, despite the fact that it doesn't make a lot of sense otherwise, that he's really looking strongly at quality of life and what city he lives in. And I think that gives a lot of credence to the fact that the Padres are not just a finalist, but I actually think at this point they're the favorite to land Roki Sasaki, at least in my mind. I don't know anything. I don't have any inside information. My gut tells me that they're at least a slight favorite at this point to land Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not putting my name on that at all. Like, I'm not going to. I do have a feeling you're going to end up on the Roki Sasaki hype video for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I did tweet that last night. I still believe that in my heart.
They'll probably take that rant that Ben just
and post it.
Made.
Yeah, it'll be great. No, but there's no need to wax poetic about Roki Sasaki right now, because there was actually and give you guys our philosophies. There was actual Roki news yesterday. And do you have the order that it went in yesterday as far as the teams that came off the board?
I mean, I spent a lot more time on X than usual, just following. I think it was the Giants went out, and then it was both New York teams, and then the Rangers went out.
Yep.
I saw a report about the Diamondbacks being out. I don't know if they were ever in. And then it was the Cubs were out, and we were left with the three teams. And then Passan said, "Yeah, those are the three finalists. It's the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays."
Okay, yeah. When Jeff Passan sent that out, the heart starts to flutter a little bit, the gut starts to drop a little bit, and then you see the video of Roki Sasaki throwing at Petco Park, a kind of mangled Petco Park because of the rodeo. And there's no doubt that was Roki Sasaki whatsoever. And there were a cavalcade of Padres players sitting by watching. There was Yu Darvish, Manny Machado was there, I do believe. He was throwing to Ethan Salas. AJ Preller was there. This is not uncommon, so it's not an uncommon thing. Apparently, he did the exact same thing in Toronto. Now, Toronto is in a dome. They play in a dome. Now, I'm sure
there's a hotel.
There's a hotel there.
The dome, so you can look in occasionally.
You could look in. I don't know that they care about baseball that much in Toronto, if literally no one saw him out there throwing. But somebody did, I think, from one of the high rises downtown, look down on the field and go, "That's interesting. That's a workout." Now, I don't think anybody's mad that that video was leaked. I don't think anybody's mad that video was shared. You're out in public, and like, if you wanted to keep that quiet, just go down to the tunnel and have him throw off a fake mound and have all the guys crowded around him. There's a part of me that thinks, "Oh no, we want this out there." You have to be.
I wonder. Now, was that a request by Roki Sasaki? I want to go down and throw. To me, it feels pretty superfluous at this point. I mean, there's not AJ Prowler's not sitting there and I didn't like that little hitch in his delivery. We're not interested anymore.
Right. Just one of those. I think honestly,
there's nothing to analyze at this point based on some flat ground throwing at Petco Park.
I don't think it was.
Did he maybe just want to go out and get a feel for the stadium and being out there,
see the guys?
He was throwing to Ethan Salas. Just get a feel for the guys and being out there. That may have been a Roki Sasaki request. I would love to just go out in your field and just throw it around for a couple of minutes, just get a sense of what it feels like.
Purple said in the chat, Toronto reports did say there was a video of Roki throwing for them, and they saw it. Some of the reporters saw it. So, I thought it was cool, man. I did. I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved that teams were eliminated one at a time. I really feel like that. It felt so new, right? Because we're so used to this, everything being cloaked in secrecy, and I like that he didn't string 5-6 other teams along for another couple of days. All those teams now get to pivot, and I think that's cool.
There was one other element to it that came out yesterday as well. Doesn't mean a lot, but it also doesn't mean nothing. And we'll get to that after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, we are getting numerous problems on our roads. There's a collision on the Rail Drive on-ramp to westbound 54. Also heading out of the South Bay, northbound 5 before E Street. Car hit the center divide. Northbound side of the 805 past Telegraph Canyon. Two-vehicle accident over to the right shoulder. You got another crash up ahead on the University Avenue off-ramp. And two-vehicle accident southbound 67 before the 52. That's over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
As you know, Woods, the Padres have a very social media savvy fan base.
Oh, very much so.
Someone's going to catch every little detail. And they did yesterday when they noticed that Roki Sasaki gained a couple of new followers on Instagram around the same time. Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill.
And Ethan Salas.
And Ethan Salas as well. All right, so three new followers.
Oh, and Jeremiah Estrada.
Yeah, there's a few that trickled down after that.
Probably all the guys that met him. And that's what I'm thinking is cool
guy. Yeah, I should follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, we met, And hey, you guys do know that if he goes to the Dodgers, all the guys that met him in San Diego are still going to be his buddy. As much as we don't want it to be, Mookie and Manny embrace. And every time every time Mookie gets to third base, they have a deep, long embrace. They're buddies. It's a fraternity. They're all in it. Roki's about to be a member of the fraternity. So the liking on Instagram, the following, means nothing to me. They're all under the same umbrella of big league players.
And I have no idea whether Vlad Jr. followed him. Or, Mookie Betts followed him. I'm not clued into what Dodgers and Blue Jays are doing on social media as well. So this is definitely not like, oh, it's a slam dunk now. You cannot make that leap from one to the other. I think you can make the leap and go, the meeting apparently went well.
Yeah.
Because if it went poorly, I doubt they're all jumping right on board to follow him on social media. It's a sign to me that for the players at least, the weekend visit by Roki Sasaki to Petco Park was a really positive experience for everyone.
It went well.
And that's a good thing for the San Diego Padres.
Yep, 100%.
Is it defining? Is it going to be the difference? No, of course not.
He's going to go where
silly.
He's going to go where he feels is the best chance for him.
Of course. So. He's talking about at least the first probably 6 years of his career.
Yep.
And if it goes well, who knows? It might be his entire career. This could be the biggest decision. Let's be honest, probably is going to be the biggest decision of his life.
Yep.
So everyone is like, just get to it, make the call. You've got to know by now, why are you dragging it around? Think about how long you would like to take to make the biggest decision of your life that's going to impact you for at least 6 years, if not the rest of your life, probably. I'm going to be patient with him and let him take as much time as he is allowed.
Yeah.
To make this decision.
It was a fun day. There's no question about it. It was a really, really fun day. It's a big decision. But I thought it was cool, and it's great to be a finalist. It really is. And, knowing that you have a 33% chance of landing a stud like Roki Sasaki is a good thing, and knowing that you're in the mix, and really feeling like this fan base desperately needs a dub. Right now. They desperately need a dub this offseason. It's been a rough one again, and I want it for the fan base more than anything. And the players, man, it's cool to have a guy like that on your squad. It's cool to have a guy that throws as well as he does, and being in your rotation. And obviously, the Padres feel like they have a lot to offer. I do as well. And I know the fan bases do. And I think one thing Roki Sasaki can count on is every time he grabs the ball and toes the rubber at Petco Park, the place is going to be going bananas for him. And that's a promise. Like that's not a maybe if everything works out. That's a promise. It's going to be packed. People are going to be buying his jersey. People are going to lose their minds. He is our crown jewel. The Dodgers, they don't need him. They do not need him. He is extra, Ben. He's extra for them. He is a great addition in an offseason of already great additions by that team.
I saw a MLB Network graphic or something yesterday. It was like teams ranked based on how much they need Roki Sasaki, and the Padres were number 1 of, I think, 7 finalists, and the Dodgers were number 7 because they don't need him.
They do not need him.
They have no need for him.
But
other than the fact that they're like, well, we're the Dodgers, why not?
Yeah. It's not really an important factor, I would think, to Roki Sasaki, how much the team needs me. It might be nice to know that, hey, this team really needs me, as opposed to this team's going to be fine with or without me. But I doubt it's like the deciding factor.
I think that's a huge factor to be needed by your employer or whatever, rather than you're just another guy.
All right,
just add you to the All-Star team.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you also don't want to have that whiff of desperation on you.
No, it's tough. It's really, really tough.
No, you got to walk. That's a fine line to walk if you're the team.
You can't. I mean, it's like meeting a woman for the first time. You can't. She knows.
Yeah.
She absolutely. The minute you walk up and say, "Hi, I'm Ben Higgins. Nice to meet you," she goes, "That guy hasn't touched a woman in 2 years." Like they know that. They can smell it. Roki could he knows the situation. His agent knows the situation here. He knows what a fit.
But it's also nice to be really wanted and needed at the same time. So how do you find that middle ground that's going to attract Roki Sasaki? And again, the reason why this is such a big deal, going through some of the ESPN, they were doing some comps yesterday on ESPN.com with their MLB insiders. Devin Schofield wrote, with his power fastball splitter combo, I think of two former MLB greats, Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling.
Jesus,
Said there are certainly some similarities as well to Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani, the pitcher, it is. And then I saw one that I thought would even got me more excited. Bradford Doolittle said, the easy, heavy, hard stuff he offers reminds me of Kevin Brown, only with a different fastball. That's one Padres fans will remember just how heavy his pitches were.
I'd be more excited about the Roger Clemens
Yeah, that's a good one,
You know what I mean? The splitter and fastball up in the zone. The most devastating combo. I mean, just as filthy as it gets. No, look, I'm excited about it, but it ain't happened yet. Get him to sign on the line, which is dotted. That's the only thing that matters.
Well, as we hope to welcome Roki Sasaki soon, Padres also had to say farewell to a key contributor to last year's 93-win team. We'll get to that coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. Quick timeout. More Ben and Woods on the other side here on 97.3 The Fan. Little extra Padres news, non-Roki Sasaki variety yesterday when we saw that Donovan Solano signed a one-year deal with the Seattle Mariners, worth reported $3.5 million. I believe he's got another $1 million or $1.5 million available in incentives if he has a good season. Donovan Solano, I'm going to miss. And I think his teammates are going to miss him as well.
Donnie Barrels, man.
Called him the teacher. He was a guy that stepped in when the Padres needed someone to hit. And he hit like 286, 8 home runs last year in 96 games. Was an absolutely key contributor both on the field and in the dugout and in the clubhouse for the San Diego Padres last season.
Yeah, it's funny how the perception is different wherever you are. Our pal Dave Softy Mahler, who is one of the most hardcore Mariners fans there is up there in Seattle. Paulie grew up listening to him. He's probably on Paulie's Mount Rushmore of radio hosts.
Yeah.
Softy, he's great. We've interviewed him many times. He after the news breaks, he tweets, 37 years old, won WAR with the Padres last year. Mariners will be his 5th team in 5 years. Not happy with the signing of Donnie Barrels, but it's because he doesn't know Donnie Barrels yet. We were not overjoyed. We thought, oh, good move, low risk, but, is he a game changer? And turns out he was. He was a game changer for this team and had some really, really big hits and a really good clubhouse guy as well.
So I think the key, though, there is 37 years old.
Yeah.
Donovan Solano was a bit of a bonus last year. A flyer at 36.
Yep.
Was not given a major league contract by anyone at the start of the season. Padres needed someone. AJ liked his makeup and I think kind of crossed his fingers, Guy, usually barrels it. Can he still do it for one more year? He did. I don't necessarily think the proper strategy is then chasing that for even more money the next year, and giving him a raise as he's getting older. So the fact that the Padres let him go is probably smart baseball. Ultimately, as much as I'm going to miss him and miss the leadership that he brought, I think the chances are the Mariners don't get as much out of him for a higher cost than the Padres got out of him for a lower cost.
Yeah, potentially.
Last season. That's just at age and logic in my mind at play. Why pay more for less when you don't have to?
And I can see Softy's logic here too. When you're blessed with one of the best rotations in baseball, the most quality starts in baseball last year, the Seattle Mariners, your future is so bright, but you really don't have anybody that can put the bat on the ball. And your main addition in the offseason is a 37-year-old Donovan Solano. I can see what his point is. Like, if I'm the Mariners ownership, I'm going to try to stack that lineup with the best hitters I could find.
That can't be your first move of the offseason.
It can't. I mean, it's like, with guys like Kyle Tucker that were out there that you could have made moves for. There's so many players out there that you could have brought into Seattle to help that lineup. When your first move is Donovan Solano, I get it. Now, you're also talking to a fan base that hasn't done anything here in San Diego. So I kind of agree. But we have good hitters. We're paying them an exorbitant amount of money to hit, but we have good hitters right now. But we still have holes to fill.
Absolutely. And hopefully after the Sasaki decision is made, we will see, a few more major league moves made by the San Diego Padres. I am expecting that.
As am I.
And if they don't, then they'll be a deficient team heading into spring training, at least, if they don't add a couple of pieces other than even Roki Sasaki, if they do land him coming up this week. One thing that A.J. Preller has always been good at, though, is identifying that talent, in its rawest form. And I was looking this morning at ESPN.com again, and something that I feel like Padres fans have been talking about for years. And they did a little thought piece, and it said, ranking all 30 MLB rosters if trades and free agency never existed. What if transactions were not allowed in Major League Baseball? So once you acquire a team, whether you draft a player, international signing, once they're in your organization, that's it. They're there for life. So, no trading away of prospects from Major League stars, no, free agency after 6 years. That's just who you've got.
And that's where you play.
And ultimately, I think the result of this is identifying which teams kind of identify young talent the best, whether it's in the draft or who it's signing, and I was interested to see the Padres stacked up pretty well, which didn't surprise me, as fans are always going, man, if we could just undo some of those trades and get some of those prospects back. The Padres actually ranked 6th on this list, and they listed the guys who would still be with the Padres. And for the regulars, they had Ty France, C.J. Abrams, Trey Turner, Hassan Kim, Luis Camposano, James Wood, Jackson Merrill, Hunter Renfroe, Jake Bowers. For a rotation, they had Max Fried, Mackenzie Gore, Zach Eflin, Miles Michaelis, and Ryan Weathers. And then for the bullpen, Emmanuel Clase, Andres Munoz, David Bednar. Good start there.
7, 8, and 9 right there.
Yeah.
Your 6-inning game, basically.
Lineup doesn't really blow my hair back.
No.
Pitching staff, pretty good. Starting pitching staff, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Elite bullpen.
Elite bullpen.
Elite bullpen.
So the teams that they were behind, number 1, the Baltimore Orioles, who have been heralded in recent years. I mean, a lot of those guys are actually still on the Orioles.
Yes.
Add in, though, like a Manny Machado and a couple of other players, a couple other pitchers. But they have kept a lot of those stars in their lineup, and that's why they've been on the upswing. The Braves, number 2, not a shocker, always been a good development and drafting organization. You know, Freddie Freeman would still be there. They would still have a lot of their stars like Ronald Acuna Jr., Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies still there, Austin Riley. Then it's the Mariners, a team that's probably done less with their drafting and developing than some other teams, probably because they haven't spent on any free agents to augment some of their own players. Dodgers are at number 4, and then the Mets are at number 5.
Give me the Dodgers lineup.
So the Dodgers, here's what the Dodgers would still have. Regulars, Carlos Santana, Hai-Sung Kim, just signed him, Corey Seager, Michael Busch, Will Smith, Yordan Alvarez, O'Neal Cruz, Cody Bellinger, Jock Peterson. That's a
pretty solid
lineup. That's a great lineup of regulars. Their rotation, I don't even remember this one, Nathan Eovaldi, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Ryan Pepio, and bullpen Kenley Jansen, Yimi Garcia, Caleb Fernandez.
Not bad.
Solid. Yeah, I would say comparable, right, to
better
the Padres.
Lineup,
yeah,
better lineup for sure.
Padres have a better bullpen, but yeah, comparable with the identifying of the early talent that would still be in there. Now, that's obviously not the game. You have to turn that early talent into actual major league rosters, and you got to spend some money, and that's what ends up your product on the big league level in years after the fact.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, and going back to Roki for a second, I saw somebody tweet yesterday. Somebody needs to explain to me why this is such a franchise altering move, and just to reiterate the fact that you're getting a pitcher of his caliber and his quality for a pittance, and it's control. That's what it is. This move is all about control. It's about
free agent next year,
6 years,
2 years.
This is not Yamamoto signing for $350 million. This is completely and utterly different. It's the same caliber of pitcher as Yamamoto was for $300 million less.
Yeah, think of the total outlay for 6 years for Roki Sasaki. So he's going to get his, $7 million in bonus money. Then he's going to make the minimum or close to it for 3 years. So that's, call that close to $3 million. So we're at about $10 million. Then he hits arbitration probably for the next 3 years. If he's as good as everyone says, it could probably make, 8, 15, and then 25. So you're talking about somewhere in the range of $50 million for 6 years versus $350 million
for 10 years.
Something like that. So you're just getting a giant discount on a player that otherwise would not be available.
Right.
And you could pay that player, but there's always the cost of then who can't you can't sign.
Correct.
Who you can't afford because you just paid that player. So you can devote more resources to your major league roster because you're devoting less resources to a top player like Roki Sasaki.
That's exactly right. I mean, the teams that do this the right way, this is a guy that can set you up. I mean, this is drafting. This is like drafting Paul Skeens, right? Who's ready to make the jump to the big league 6 months later. I think even Paul Skeens got a bigger bonus than this guy's going to get. I think Paul Skeens is going to make more money than Roki Sasaki. It is an absolute franchise-altering decision that will be made in the next few days.
We will get into some of the NFL talk from last night's game at the bottom of the hour after Don't Do This, but it was an LA strong performance by the Rams last night. I was actually happy that they could lift up the spirits of some in that city. And if you are interested in helping and supporting the recovery efforts, the San Diego Food Bank is supporting the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank's ongoing relief efforts by collecting donations of non-perishable food and supplies through Thursday, January 16th, which will be delivered at the end of the week. Items can be dropped off at either of their warehouses in Miramar and Vista. The LA Regional Food Bank has requested the following items for donations: water, energy bars, pop-top tuna, and chicken, so nothing that needs a can opener, just so you can open it easily. Raisins, other dried fruit, trail mix, peanut butter crackers, cheese crackers, 100% juice boxes, individual cereal boxes, diapers, and wipes. For more details, you can visit sandiegofooodbank.org/LA-wildfires. But if you do have some extra supplies and you can spare them and you can drop them off, they will be sent up to people who need them that are recovering from the wildfires this week in Los Angeles.
One thing I know about the Tier 1s is that they always, always, always come through. Always come through. So I'd love to get a bunch of people, and let's go to the store, let's get a bunch of stuff, let's take it down to the food bank and try to do our part.
Absolutely. It's interesting. As much as we bag on LA, and they are, our nemesis 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
This is different. This is something, obviously, that is tragic, and we should all be coming together to offer as much support as possible to, the people who are going through it. Because we've gone through it before.
Yeah, this ain't baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is different. We've gone through it before here in San Diego, so we know exactly what this feels like. And it's just the worst. It's just the worst to have to be dislocated, displaced. Even if you didn't lose your house, so many people evacuated, and everything that's going on has just been awful the last few days.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a run today, I think, down to the food bank. I used to do a ton of work for them back when I was on 94.9. It's an organization that is just completely selfless and phenomenal at what they do. So let's get it together. Get some cases of water, some diapers. I can't tell you guys, man. People with little kids right now must be flipping out. Just flipping out. Diapers, wipes, all that stuff comes in so handy. It's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but as much as we can do here in our city, let's give back as much as we can.
All right, Don't Do This is coming up next. Very creepy stalker story. Plus, the latest reminder that when you're on a big Zoom call with national media, don't forget to mute your microphone.
Are you surprised that this hasn't happened to me yet?
No,
yes.
I think you're pretty careful about. Yeah, you're careful and quiet about that.
This is embarrassing for the Giants media.
All right, let me tell you about the Barnes firm. They are the legal group that is representing people here in San Diego who have been in accidents, especially. Also, workplace injuries, anything that you feel like you need legal representation. They've got you covered with a great team of attorneys. But specifically right now, they've been looking into the issue of self-driving cars, which are, hey, kind of great, kind of cool. They're actually designed to eliminate accidents or at least minimize them, but sometimes it's unavoidable. It's weird. A car is going to get into an accident. It can't avoid it. How does the car decide who to protect? The passenger, the pedestrian? They're real issues that could affect your safety and legal rights. And the Barnes firm has been deeply engaged with these emerging challenges, knowing that software glitches, sensor failures, hacking, all can play a part in this. So their team of expert attorneys are prepared to handle complex cases. If you are in an accident, you feel like your rights aren't being represented, if your wishes, your insurance company isn't paying what you should be paid, the Barnes firm is there to help you. Just go online to thebarnesfirm.com or make one easy call to 1-800-8-MILLION. Set up your free consultation. You will get charged nothing, and if you don't win your case, they take your case. They don't win, you will get charged nothing as well. So if you're in an accident, you want to have the best team of attorneys, that's the Barnes firm. Check them out today at thebarnesfirm.com or call 1-800-8-MILLION. Don't face it alone. It could be the best phone call you ever make.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. Woodsy, get us started.
Absolutely mortifying for Taylor Worth of NBC Sports Bay Area in California. Was on the introductory Zoom with the Giants' newest addition, starting pitcher, Lord Baseball himself, Justin Verlander. And Justin was at home on his on his wife's laptop, I do believe, because instead of saying Justin Verlander as the name, it said Kate Upton, which, by the way,
is a great flex.
Is a huge flex. Huge flex.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody forgot, my wife is Kate Upton. Just FYI. So Buster,
you should really just have Hannah and
just
Carol
Hannah's
on
face.
all your Zooms, too.
I should just have her do my Zooms for me. My life would probably be much easier. But, so Buster Posey is, talking about the addition and the team signing Justin Verlander, and then this random stray voice pops up.
And have always admired
what?
the way that he takes care of business.
Look at Justin's name.
Oh.
If you guys can just, all the media on here, if you can just mute yourselves, please.
Yeah, it's a PR guy.
I'll change it. All right, I'll change it.
That's Justin. I'll change it.
I'll change it, okay?
I'll change it, okay? Embarrassing.
Someone pointed out that, so the guy didn't have his video stream on, but there was a picture of him, like a publicity shot.
Yeah.
And they said, dude looks like a 13-year-old Colin Jost.
Yeah, he does.
It's like a young
reporter.
Young-looking reporter, for sure.
Yeah, he does. But when you're on those, when you're on any Zoom meeting, just double, triple check to make sure you are you're muted.
All right, this story is disturbing.
Not so lighthearted.
Especially after I finally watched Baby Reindeer over the holiday break, which is a Netflix show about a stalker in England.
It's no joke.
Of a comedian bartender guy. It's a real story. True story. And you can just see how awful it would be to have a stalker. And it happened, unfortunately, to WNBA star Caitlin Clark. According to court documents, a 55-year-old Texas man was arrested on felony stalking charges in Indianapolis after he allegedly, repeatedly sent threats and sexually violent messages to Clark. Now, we have some of the tweets that he sent. It was mostly done, I believe, on X, like this one. Been driving around your house 3 times a day, but don't call the law just yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gainbridge, a.k.a. Caitlin's field house. And then I'm getting tickets. I'm sitting behind the bench.
Bro, come on, man.
And then after he had been warned, apparently, they said I was sending threatening texts, but the only thought on my mind was Caitlin.
That is so creepy.
So creepy. The post, quote, actually caused Caitlin Clark to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, or threatened. There were also, as I mentioned, some violent ones as well that have not been made public. Caitlin says, I never once responded.
No.
Didn't do anything, didn't like anything.
So disturbing, dude.
Yeah, it's extremely disturbing. And hopefully, obviously, this is handled, but Caitlin Clark is definitely the highest profile star the WNBA has ever had, which means some of these are probably somewhat new issues to the league as well. And I'm sure they have league security that will look into it as well and try to make sure that she is safe as possible. But this is scary.
I think from there was a couple of threads going on the other day. A woman in Dallas actually it was really disturbing to read, and she had to go public with it because this guy was stalking her, and I caught myself reading in the thread, and I realized that police stations are inundated with all kinds of things and problems, but these threats and things like that, I think there needs to be a next level of taking it seriously. I really do. And I'm reading through. She's like, I've called, Frisco Police Department 30 times. There's nothing they can do until he does this. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know the solution. I just know that threats like that, they got to be taken more seriously.
Paulie had said yesterday, was this like a story we had before? And I think what you're remembering, because we did it on Don't Do This, was the Oregon man who was arrested for stalking Paige Beckers, the Yukon star.
Okay.
He flew all the way from Oregon.
Yes. That's what it was.
And he was arrested, walking along the side of the road saying, I'm going to see Paige Beckers of Yukon. He was so obsessed with her, he actually flew all the way across the country.
So gnarly.
To continue his stalking and harassment. So, women's basketball. This is definitely a security issue.
Women in general. I mean, honestly, it's an epidemic right now in our country. And then some good news.
DD mega doo-doo.
So the internet, it's undefeated. You know that. If you're out in public and you're making an ass out of yourself, chances are somebody's got a camera on you and they're going to get to the bottom of it. It's a real good reminder for all of us to mind our P's and Q's, Ben, when we're out in public, especially at a sporting event. And I told you yesterday about the Philly fan who was berating the female Packers fan in front of her, calling her a fat, dumb C word. It's shocking video to see. I mean, it's shocking video. He's clearly inebriated, but all over her in this game. Husband took a video of it, took the internet all of 6 hours to get to the bottom of this, just like the Baltimore fan that was running up and down the streets, beating up people randomly, saying, I never lose. He's in jail right now. Well, they got to the bottom of this. They found the guy. His name is Ryan Caldwell, and he is a investment guy for BCT Partners. So yesterday, you're kind of seeing, once they identified him.
Or was.
Well, so it says, here's the statement that they put out. The management at BCT Partners has been made aware of a video circulating involving an employee making offensive remarks outside the workplace. BCT Partners denounced this type of behavior. We take this matter extremely seriously. As an organization that has always stood for inclusivity, the conduct displayed was completely unacceptable, stands in direct opposition to our company's values. We've already begun a full investigation as an internal personnel matter to determine what actions will be taken. We sincerely apologize to everyone affected by this behavior and remain committed to fostering a culture of respect for all.
You never want to have your company have to send that email out about you.
Yeah, no doubt. That's the thing they always say is that every day on Twitter, there's a main character. Don't be it. Don't be it. And it was Ryan Caldwell's turn. But, I mean, again, there's no excuse for that. Like, people people are allowed to come to your stadium that root for other teams. It's fun to have fun with them. It's fun to break balls with them. But what is not okay is what went down.
Question.
Yep.
A lot of people in the chat are wondering why I read the stalker's tweets in a creepy, stalkery voice. I thought that would like convey how creepy it was if I did it in like the creepy sounding stalker voice. But was that wrong of me to do that?
I don't know. You had an artistic feeling and you went with it.
I did. And now I'm receiving some backlash for that. I apologize. And my camera died again. Okay, well, we will come back and that's Don't Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We will talk a little NFL coming up in last night's game in Arizona, final wild card game. Very costly to one of the quarterbacks involved, I would think. First, though, here's Woods.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you took Sam Darnold to have over like 180, what did he end up with yards passing? It was not a great night, but I played some Underdog fantasy last night. If you're a California sports fan, there's good news. Underdog now available to play in our state. Best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going to go off? Which other ones are ice cold? You can actually pick either one. It's really, really fun. They've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. Cook up some entries, shot to win real cash prizes all playoffs long. All the other sports as well. If you're a golfer, I love doing fantasy picks on golf. They have that as well. It's just been a really fun experience. I've had a lot of fun with it and have won a little cash on the side too, which is great. Underdog, the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with the promo code WOODS, deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code WOODS when you sign up. Got to be 18 and over, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Been talking a lot this morning about Roki Sasaki, and I think that's probably the right vein to stay in, Benny. And we all saw the video that came out yesterday. Now, from what I understand, it was posted on Reddit first. So it was posted on Reddit, not sure who posted it, and then a Twitter follower of ours, I think it's at Padres Please Win, posted the video. And I saw it and I went, oh my God. Oh my gosh, that's him. That's crazy. And you look at the field and you put two and two together. Oh, they just had a rodeo there. That's why the field doesn't look great. But he's out there throwing a flat ground little session to Ethan Salas. And I got DMs yesterday going, oh, does this mean Ethan Salas is going to be our starting catcher? And I basically wrote back and said, no, I think, listen, Roki Sasaki and his agent had mentioned before, they want a team with a bright future as well. I think the San Diego Padres certainly have on paper a bright future as far as some of the guys that they've acquired and will continue to acquire. And I thought it was just kind of a, hey, why don't you throw to the kid here and let the kid catch you? And I think it was just cool for everybody.
That's a good point. I hadn't really considered it, but Ethan Salas is actually likely a major selling point for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
He may not be the Padres catcher this season. We don't expect that, but likely for most of Roki Sasaki's tenure with the Padres, Ethan Salas should be the guy he's throwing to. And from everything we've heard about Ethan Salas, the one thing that he does extremely well already at an all-star major league level is receive the baseball. And I would imagine a pitcher just throwing on a flat ground is going to go, man, look how smooth that guy is,
cool.
How easily he catches it, frames it. I could see myself throwing to this guy for several years to come. I think
it's just a cool thing.
I think it's not just a cool thing. I think that was probably a strategic choice by the Padres to have Ethan Salas there catching Roki Sasaki.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And then the other thing that I'm getting a lot of questions about, and I don't know the answer, so I will speculate fully on this. The video was pulled down. So the guy that posted on Twitter said, somebody asked him why was it taken down. He said, I did it out of respect to the guy that posted it on Reddit. So I think sometimes, now I don't know if the guy on Reddit heard from somebody that's get that down right now. I have no idea.
That doesn't mean
zero.
Anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's out. Once it's out,
it's out.
I was able to find it 20 minutes ago.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Yeah. And so, but there is something about a video like that you post that you don't realize the smoke you're going to get from it, right? Like you have a video that's like, holy crap, I'm going to get this. And the smoke that you get from the public and it goes national and John Boy's retweeting it. And it's a lot, right? When a tweet of yours goes viral, it's a lot to handle. And so maybe this guy panicked that took it from the high rise or whatever and said,
well, if it's not his video, certainly someone could say,
the guy from Reddit. Reddit panicked,
maybe, but it's also, it's his video to do with what he chooses.
Yeah.
He shot it and it's up to him. I mean, he could try to sell it if he wanted to and act like I can't use that on television.
Oh, yeah.
It's not my video. I don't have the rights to it.
You have to ask.
We would have to ask permission or buy it from him to use it on television. And maybe someone got into his ear and go, hey, you could maybe monetize this. You don't just give it away to everyone. There could be a million explanations on that. I was wondering, and this is probably not even remotely the case, but could it have possibly been a bit of a test from Roki Sasaki's side to see how intrusive San Diego would be from a fan media perspective for a guy who wants some privacy.
I think
where
that's such an overreach and such a
I agree.
Stretch.
But I at least throw it out there just as a speculation.
No, I have seen it too. Of like, there goes our chances. No. You have exactly as many chances today as you did yesterday.
All right, so it's pretty sad when you think about the fact that had Sam Darnold 10 days ago tripped on a staircase and broken his ankle, he would probably be a much richer man this offseason than he's going to be having played the last two games. We'll talk about the wild card weekend wrap-up last night on Monday Night Football from Arizona next on 97.3 The Fan after a check of traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Still plenty of problems on our roads, guys. Westbound King Freeway, just before the 5, there's a collision involving a couple vehicles. It's over to the right shoulder. Also going to find on westbound 8 for the 125, accident involving a couple vehicles. That is over to the right shoulder. Northbound side of the 805, right at the North 15 connector, reports of a box or some other debris in the left lane. And stalled car in middle lanes, northbound 15, right before the 8. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
There's a lot of talk today about how the Minnesota Vikings were a 14-3 fraud this season. The most wins ever for a wild card team in the NFL. And when you look at the schedule that they played, there's not a lot of quality wins in that 14. Their best win was probably their 2-point wins over Green Bay. Were probably their best 2 wins of the season. After that, there's a lot of Giants, Bears, Jacksonville, Indy, Arizona, Tennessee. They beat mediocre teams all year long. They won close games, so they probably compiled a better record than their talent indicated. However, I can't go so far as to call Sam Darnold a complete fraud. He had a really good season for the Minnesota Vikings and ended up in the last 2 games against the Lions to end the regular season and the Rams. And make no mistake, Rams have one of the best defensive fronts in football. Went up against 2 really quality opponents and, struggled against those opponents. Better opponents than he had faced most of the season. It's not an indictment necessarily of Sam Darnold, but I think it reminds us that there's a reason why Sam Darnold was not considered a, premier quarterback in the NFL, and that some of the numbers this year were at least artificially inflated by having a good receiver, a good coach, playing indoors, playing a weaker schedule. Yes, he was a product of a lot of that this year.
I mean, it's so hard to look at a guy that threw for 4,319 yards and 35 touchdowns and say, hey, you got lucky, pal. I don't know what to tell you. He got cold at the wrong time. He absolutely got it. Just like baseball teams, it happens to everybody. You get cold at the wrong time. He lost confidence after last week's game. I said it yesterday, and you watched it last night. You saw overthrows again. You saw uncertainty in the pocket with time. I mean, his feet were moving, Ben. Troy Aikman was like livid about Sam Darnold last night. He could not mask the contempt he had for Sam Darnold last night. But look, it's not
weird. He went like 9 for 10 to start. He was making throws,
and then he just
never felt like they were going to even threaten LA yesterday.
He got rattled, man, because he got
sacked 9 times. And you can say he probably should have gotten rid of a couple of those and avoided them. There's no quarterback in football. Joe Montana is not going to have a good game when he's sacked anywhere close to 9 times.
But I think Joe Montana's not getting sacked 9 times.
Well, maybe not 9, but it's certainly not 0. I mean, he's he probably 5 or 6 at least times. That's on the offensive line, and credit to the Rams defensive line for doing a great job. You can't pin that all on Darnold, though, getting sacked 9 times in the game. Usually most people blame someone other than the quarterback when they're getting sacked all the time, and it seemed like Darnold got a lot of the blame. Ultimately, the Rams...
He took a lot of the blame, too. He did say, he goes, look, I felt like there was a lot of sacks I was responsible for. I'm holding the football, taking sacks where I could have dirted it at someone's feet, thrown it over someone's head. He was able to throw it over many receivers' heads later in the game, missed a wide-open throw. I mean, just a tough time to have your confident shot. And they got bodied last night. They got bodied real good.
And the Rams played a really good game.
They did.
Right from the jump. Took the opening kickoff 70 yards down. Matt Stafford goes 6 for 6 on the opening drive. Guy who's won a Super Bowl, who's been there in these kind of games before. Take an early lead. You take control. I thought a huge moment in this game. And you can say that Matthew Stafford was savvy or lucky. But the Rams were up 10-0. They gave up the field goal. And then moments later, the Vikings are returning what looked like what was originally ruled a fumble into the end zone for a tying touchdown. New game. Everyone relaxes.
Yep.
Sam Darnold relaxes. It's a different game at that point. But they go to the review and they go, yeah, Matthew Stafford was actually trying to flip that forward to Puka Nacua, who was, 3 yards away.
Very lucky.
And not only was it not a fumble, wasn't even intentional grounding. The Rams got away with one there. I'm not saying it was the wrong call, but it was sketchy at best.
Yep.
To get what was a touchdown for the other team. Really, no penalty at all. The Rams go down, score twice more in the first half. They're up 24-3, and then it's over at that point.
Yeah, they were running the ball. Kyron Williams was awesome last night. Matthew Stafford was great. I mean, Nakua. Somebody made the point on Twitter, like, how good is Puka Nakua that you basically forget they have Cooper Kupp? You know what I mean? Who just was a guy that caught everything for them. But they spread it around. They ran the football. They were really physical on defense. Ben, who wants to play them, dude? Who wants to play that team? It's Philly, right?
So Philly
want to play that team.
Philly has
I think the Rams could absolutely knock Philly off.
I don't think there's any question.
So the Philly has a really good offensive line, which is not that the Rams can't get. And Jalen Hurts is a much more mobile quarterback than Sam Darnold. This is not the same game next week against the Eagles that it was against last night against the Vikings. However, there's definitely some emotion going on. I don't know if you saw Sean McVay in the locker room after the game. They're wearing their LAFD shirts and hats, and there was some real genuine emotion for that team. Will it carry over another week? Will it carry over to the other side of the country for a game? I think it's going to be in the 20s, outdoors, not inside. Yeah. Is it going to be the same next week? I don't know, but the Rams certainly have a bit of magic at this moment, and you can see them doing something unexpected and special this postseason.
Did McVay lose his house? Was he one of the guys that lost or was affected by it?
Don't think so. J.J. Redick did, I know. I don't think McVay did.
Steve Kerr lost his childhood home. Paulie, I did send you a video this morning, and if you want to pin something maybe on the Vikings losing, I don't know. Like, I was just talking about epidemics in this country. I think this is one of them. I saw this morning, and I retweeted it.
I'll pull it up here.
Paulie's going to pull it up here in a moment.
It's not good.
It's not good. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
The need to drop a wrap before a playoff game.
Yeah.
We know it. Well, here in San Diego, we may never.
You going deep on us? That's gonna be a pick. 22 and 24.
This is Jared Veggie.
Every time they touch the turf, is gonna be a movie. Okay, B Flow, go ahead, drop some. It's way too easy. These other teams are none. As far as I'm concerned, they're nothing but some buns. Play cash. Straight cash. He can be in coverage or he can rush the pass. Van Gink in a mink. This team of Viking ship, I promise we won't sink. Yeah, before this season, all they did was doubt us. Thought we'd win 4 games, then clown us. Now we in the
thoughts.
He went to the trouble of finding a location that looked kind of cool. I don't know. There's big
looked like a parking garage.
Yeah. Well, there's some sort of big behind him that looked like grand in scale. So I'll give him credit for that.
Okay.
It wasn't the worst one of the variety.
No, that's ours.
Heard.
That's ours. Ours is.
That's what's in.
There's nothing as bad as ours. Nothing on the planet. Bryce is going to lose. Manny's going to cruise. That's what's in. There's nothing.
Really hard to top.
Yeah, they're like a awful barbershop quartet with no music in the background. They didn't put any production value into it.
This had production value.
This did, yeah.
He laid down a beat.
He did.
He had some words that generally made sense, I think, if you're a Vikings fan.
Ours is, Andy says ours is actually the worst. I couldn't agree more. I've seen some bad ones. I've never seen one like that, like ours, ever. Forever cursed with that thing. Forever.
Bryce is gonna lose and Manny's gonna cruise.
We need to I don't know what we do, but I think we need to get those guys in and exercise those demons. I just can't bring myself to do it because what if it gets worse?
I think we need to strap them to a rocket and send them away.
To a rocket. Where could exile them somewhere? Where can we exile them?
The moon.
The moon. Okay.
Jay the J.O. says, Woodsy is the best. Ben wears the mesh. That's what's in.
There you go. Oh. And see, the L.A. one, somebody's asking to play that one. No, they were jinx-proof this year, which is weird because they had some pretty bad ones too. But
there is a dollar amount, it seems like. I don't know exactly what the number is, but there is a dollar amount there you can be jinx-proof.
your team has to spend a certain amount.
$700 million.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. $1 billion, actually. So, all right.
Right.
Well, if you spend $1 billion, then you can wrap. If your team spends $1 billion, you can wrap all you want. It doesn't really matter.
Let's see. So during the game last night, news leaked out, quite coincidentally, I'm sure, that Deion Sanders had made contact with Jerry Jones about the now open Dallas Cowboys head coaching position.
Or vice versa, right?
Or vice versa. They've spoken. There's interest, mutual interest on both sides. They're going to remain in touch. Don't expect anything imminent. But honestly, I think there's a real chance that Deion Sanders ends up as the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry loves nothing if not a great circus.
Bit. Yeah, a bit would be great. It'd be great for the content, certainly. The other name that they kept mentioning was Jason Witten coming in to coach the Cowboys. He's a Cowboys legend, but zero head coaching experience in the NFL. It's an odd choice, to be sure. I don't know, man. I don't know what to feel. I don't know how to feel. I really don't care either way, but I do think for entertainment purposes, Deion coaching Cowboys would be electric.
I was going to say, Jared loves the headline.
He loves the headline.
I think if you're Deion, you'd be nuts not to take the opportunity if it's offered to
you. Now,
you
can parlay this into another, decent extension and more money with Colorado.
So a lot of people saying, "Oh, there's no chance he leaves Colorado." I'm like, really?
I
don't
saw
think he's that married to Colorado, especially with his son leaving.
I saw some veteran Cowboys reporters saying that Jerry would never pay. I believe he currently has an $8 million buyout with Colorado, and Jerry just doesn't do that. He doesn't even like firing coaches early and paying them twice. That's why Mike McCarthy, he just let his contract run out and now move on to another one. So he doesn't have to pay two coaches at the same time. He's kind of frugal that way, is Jerry. But, I mean, if you're going to sign Deion, it's going to be a massive deal. He's not coming to the Cowboys cheap. Deion could just say, fine, I'll pay the $8 million buyout. You just pay me $8 million more than you thought you were going to pay as my salary. However you want to work it out. I think that's a hurdle that can be overcome if Jerry really wants Deion Sanders to be the coach. Jason Witten, that makes no sense. If you're going with the big former player splash, it's Deion Sanders. You will have everybody talking about you. You will have.
You already do, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like if you're the Cowboys, aren't they consistently the number one most valuable team in sports?
Because they do
year?
things like this, though.
But they don't. They had boring ass Jason Garrett. They had Mike McCarthy. He likes puppets, man. Like Deion's not going to be a puppet for him. I just don't know if it's going to work.
If the Cowboys go 14-3, they're the most talked about NFL team. If they go 3-14, they're still the most talked about NFL team.
And if they go 8-8,
9 or whatever, then they're still the most talked about team. So I guess you're right. They don't need it, but it does fit their MO.
Ben nailed it yesterday. You nailed it yesterday when you said Jerry Jones would rather lose his way than win and not get credit. And I think that's absolutely right on. Like he wants to be the guy in charge of pulling the strings that lead to a Super Bowl champion, just like happened 30 years ago. And then Jimmy Johnson spoke his mind, and what happened? He's out on his ass, never to coach again. And the team has been in a free fall ever since.
Well, I'm definitely more hesitant that Jerry Jones is going to pull the trigger on this. I think if it's offered, Deion should make the jump. I mean, going from Jackson State to head coach of the Cowboys in 3 years. I don't care if your name is Deion Sanders or what. That is
I want to see it.
That is quite the meteoric rise in coaching circles to go from Jackson State to the Dallas Cowboys in that amount of time.
I want to see it. And I think Troy Aikman even said on the broadcast last night, it's not a place you can go where you're going to be able to do and speak your mind freely like Deion Sanders would want to do. So I don't know that it's a great fit.
Well, the crazy thing, the Troy Aikman comments about, people say, well, this is a premier job. And he's basically like, is it?
Is it?
Is it
really a premier
and this
job?
Is Troy Aikman.
That's Troy Aikman.
Calling out the Dallas Cowboys. Going, I don't know if this is a coveted job in the NFL anymore. You could not have. I mean, Jerry was probably seething when he heard that from a respected big voice, Cowboys voice like Troy Aikman.
I don't think Troy's wrong.
I don't think he's wrong either.
Basically saying that Jerry has turned the Dallas Cowboys into kind of a laughing stock, a joke.
No question.
That was the implication from Troy Aikman last night. I was surprised to hear him say that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that he thought it. Mm-hmm. I was surprised to hear him actually say it on national television on ESPN.
Yep. Absolutely. He's absolutely right.
We've got Dave Rickards coming in studio in the second half of Ben and Woods. That's coming up at our 9 o'clock hour. So we've got Take on Woods and an early Reindl Report to get to, all coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, wow. All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. It's January 14th. It's Ben and Woods 97.3. The Fan. Great to be here with all of you. Very excited about our guest coming up at 9, Dave Rickards from DSC. Will be here to hang out and do some radio with us. It's quite an honor, certainly. You better have it together. Pull yourself together.
You're gonna wear that shirt?
Yeah.
I thought this was a good choice.
It's wadded up in the corner.
Very wrinkled.
All wrinkly.
It's brand new.
Are you gonna?
Now you're making me self-conscious.
Now listen.
I was already nervous.
When he talks, listen.
Oh, if you repeat him, I swear
I'm
to
not
God.
going to repeat him.
I really want you to focus on your active listening.
Yeah, put on the mesh shirt maybe when he gets here.
Yes.
You know, they were always legend for their April Fool's pranks.
Yeah, many pranks.
Including one, and it was brought up in the chat earlier, where they convinced a good portion of San Diego that the space shuttle was going to land at the Montgomery Field, which is right across the street from us here.
Got in a lot of trouble for that. A lot of trouble for that.
Little tiny airport. You know, the space shuttle lands on like extra long runways out in the desert. Like it was like they needed huge amounts of space. No chance they could ever land a space shuttle on a little tiny regional airport like Montgomery Field. But they got in a bit of hot water for that one.
You
respected it though, didn't you?
I respect it, but I don't have the stomach for it. I don't have the stomach for that amount of smoke. I could take a little smoke, but not that much smoke. That is like the upper levels of smoke. You know, I've gotten called to the principal's office once or twice, but nothing like that. You don't, and I know that probably. I wonder if he could do it over again. Would he? I mean, it's so good pub for their show, and ultimately they didn't lose their jobs or anything. But I wonder if the juice was worth the squeeze. We'll ask him when he comes in. I mean, he probably gets asked about it all the time, but it would make me very, very nervous. But I'm very excited to have Dave in here and see what I can learn from him in an hour. I know he's a fan of our show and has had really nice things to say about what we've been able to do, and that's the ultimate honor, obviously, coming from a guy like that. But I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm really, really nervous.
He always did a great job, and I respected this immensely, of weaving in all of the different voices on his show.
It's so hard to do.
But at the same time, he was...
You knew
who was in charge.
Oh, yeah.
He commanded... He commanded the authority of the room.
He was the ringmaster, man, for sure. And you're together so long, you start to get it down pat, and it's like it's symphonic. It really is. We have those moments too where I can just look at Paulie once, like give him like one look, and he's like, "Oh, Woods wants the Stroganoff drop or something."
Stroganoff.
Look at that. I mean, it's just I didn't even have to say it. It's just unspoken. Ben likes a racy paperback. Something that you've been looking for in your personal life. All I have to do is just give Paulie like a quick look.
I am looking for a good racy paperback.
By the way, we think we might have found one for you.
Oh, really?
More details on that on Friday. I'm still working out in my mind if we can actually do it, but I think we have found one.
If we can't, it's going to be the most elite member stream.
Correct.
Of all time.
Of all time, yes.
On YouTube later this month.
But really appreciate you guys being here. If you're listening on the radio, thank you. If you're listening on Alexa, great. If you're watching on YouTube, we do appreciate that as well. We've just surpassed 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's great. Let's get about 13,000 more and call it a day.
Sounds good.
That? Yep.
Obviously, Roki Sasaki has been a big topic today.
Well, did you see the comment in the chat?
I did.
Do we want to give it any oxygen?
No, not really.
Really?
What? The guy who said that I know someone at the Dodgers.
So Rancid Guns is the name. He says, I got a friend that works at the Dodgers. He's going to be wearing number 14. All right. So
I could give you, if I wanted, I could give you the same things from the Padres.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, though, because
he's not wearing 14 because that's Tyler Wade's number. So that's not happening. I don't know who Roki Sasaki thinks he is, but he's not getting T. Wade's number.
Honestly, someone asked me at Channel 10 yesterday, well, if he knows, saying no to all these teams, why doesn't he just let it be known where he's going? And I said, I honestly think he hasn't decided yet. I think he wants to sleep on it a couple of more days. Biggest decision of his life. Go through the finalists and pros and cons, make lists with his agent, do whatever your process is to make the biggest decision of your life. And I am okay with that. Give the man the time, the space that he needs. Maybe he's leaning heavily in one direction, but he's like, why should I make a decision a second before I absolutely have to? Maybe the key piece of information is still eluding me. I'll have a dream one night and it'll all become clear. Give yourself the opportunity to process as much information for as long as possible and then make the most informed decision you can. And I would guess that the reason why we don't know, who the last team is because Sasaki himself may not know the answer to that question yet. Well, I think we all think, oh yeah, he's known for weeks where he's going. I doubt it.
I want to let myself believe that he knows where he's going. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just tend to think that he knows. I think the team that he's going to also knows.
I think he knew. I do. Like maybe a few weeks ago.
I think so too.
And he's still going through the process. I mean, who doesn't like to be wined and dined, right?
Well, Jeff says, I respectfully disagree, Ben. I think he always wanted to choose the Padres, but he wanted to give other teams the chance to beat the offer lifestyle of being a San Diego Padres. And I doubt anyone has. Maybe he went into the process with a favorite. I don't know if it was the Padres or it was the Dodgers or some other team. I mean, that's human nature. I think we all have certain expectations and beliefs going in, but at the same time, your eyes are going to get opened by this process of meeting with different front offices and visiting different cities. There's no way that he's thinking the exact same way he did 6 weeks ago. When this process was just getting started. He's learned a lot during that time that I think will shape and inform his decision.
Just FYI, number 14 is retired from the Los Angeles Dodgers. That was Gil Hodges' number. So it ain't going to be 14, whoever your source is.
Check your sources.
Yeah, so that's great catch by Katie in the chat. She's just an FYI. That's retired. That's Gil Hodges' number. I doubt they're going to pull Gil Hodges' number out of retirement to give it to Roki.
Maybe his great-grandchildren can give permission.
Potentially.
Yeah, when did Gil Hodges play? I feel like he was on the field with the Black Sox in Field of Dreams. That's Gil Hodges.
Oh, yeah, he was.
He's old.
He's old.
You coming out of the corn and playing against Shoeless Joe in Field of Dreams. I feel like he's fairly old.
Well,
Rancid played with the Brooklyn/LA Dodgers 1943, and then he fight in the war because then he was off until 1947. Until 1961.
That's Mel Ott and Smokey Joe Wood. That's Gil Hodges. Rancid Gun says, save comment, you will see. Your comment has literally already been disproved. He'll be wearing number 14 with the Dodgers.
Physically impossible that you can unretire a number and give it to someone? Yes.
He was born in 1924, though, so I don't think he played on the Black
If Roki Sasaki said, I have made my decision, I am coming to the San Diego Padres, but I have one stipulation.
19.
I have to wear number 19. That's it, or I'm going to the Dodgers.
Oh, boy.
I promise you, they find a way to make it happen. Right?
Really?
Really. You just let him go to the Dodgers.
It's not going to happen. That's
I'm
dumb
It's
argument.
hypothetical. That's the most absurd demand ever.
I get
but
it.
I don't think that I think you're wrong.
You think they would not do it? They'd say, fine, go to the Dodgers. We can't unretire. It's just a number. Fine. Hopefully at the end of his career, we'll have
do to you?
2 number 19s retired in San Diego at the end of his career.
So can we interest you
Let's ask Tony Gwynn Jr. what he would think.
Can we interest you in 91 instead of 19?
1.9.
Yeah, 1.9. Dan says Roki is playing with Padres fans' emotions. Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that way. He's not doing this. This is his agent letting teams know that they're not going to be signing, which I think it's a really classy move. I really, really do. And I've talked about it a couple times today, letting those other teams know, hey, let's not spin our wheels anymore worrying about this. Let's move on and go get some other international prospects. And we're out of the mix. I thought it was a classy move by his team. I wish that they would eliminate 2 more today, and we would be the last person or last team standing. But it's probably too much to ask.
How about this? This happens to every major free agent that's been around, not necessarily coming over from Japan. Is there a mystery team? Are we going to see a mystery team tomorrow?
No, I don't think there's a mystery team, but what I do fear, and I'm telling you, like
Dodgers are out, but a mystery team emerges.
If we get Roki Sasaki and we have a chance to get AJ Preller on, I want to say to him, so let's ask each other too. What are your thoughts? What's going on right now? Is Friedman on the phone going, is he making an extra push, a pitch? Is Preller making an extra push? I don't know. Who's the GM of the Blue Jays?
Good question.
Great question. Are they still just pounding Joel Wolf?
If this was a normal free agency pursuit,
yes,
you just increase your offer.
Correct.
Like, we need to get you. We're adding millions to the offer.
Correct.
But you
Ross
can't do
Atkins.
that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So, yeah, that's why the mystery team's not. The mystery team is designed to up the price.
Correct.
You can't up the price. There's nothing more you can offer him. You're selling yourself, but at this point, you can't call it, we forgot to tell you about the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. You'd really love the Getty Museum. And AJ's going, hey, but did you see the panda bears at the zoo?
Did you hear that Coheed and Cambria is playing Petco Park later in the year?
I'm sure there's nothing you can add at this point. It's just the ball is in Sasaki's court. And now we wait.
I love waiting. It's my favorite. I'm so patient.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods. That'll help us pass at least a few minutes while Roki Sasaki decides. You can qualify for our trip to Las Vegas, our monthly grand prize, in our musical trivia contest, UV Woods, by calling in now at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll play as soon as we come back after Woods tells us about QC Kinetics.
That's right, my friends. If you're heading into the new year with the same old joint pain, you don't have to. I'm talking about your knees, your hips, your back, or your shoulder. Make the decision now to say, no, I'm not going to do this in 2025. Get moving again with help from QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. You can revitalize your joints. I've done it, did it in my wrists, did it in my knee. No steroids, no surgery, no drugs. This is the future of medicine, using natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people like myself with pain have discovered these cellular treatments. So happy that I found QC Kinetics. So you can live your life again without constant pain in your joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these incredible treatments? Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. Deal with joint pain now so you can make the most of the new year. 619-614-PAIN. 619-614-PAIN. Once again, QC Kinetics, 619-614-PAIN.
All right, here we go. Black 17 on. That is my number. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
For a moment, somebody sent me a picture of Kike Hernandez wearing number 14, and I went, oh, no. But they retired it in 2022.
They retired Gil Hodges' number in 2022.
Looks that way, and he wore number 8 on return.
And then Kike was taken away from Kike.
Okay, yes.
So it's unlikely that they've reserved it for Roki Sasaki.
Correct.
Before we get to take on Woods, we got our contestant ready to go. Eric, hang on. A little news that just came in from the San Diego Wave, who have traded young superstar midfielder Jaden Shaw to the North Carolina Courage this morning.
I thought that happened over the weekend.
Was that it was reported, but it's now official.
So it is official, okay.
Just getting back allocation money, $300,000 in allocation money.
They're trying to get Roki Sasaki.
They could be, clearing some space. For Sasaki. Apparently, according to the reporting, Shaw requested being traded, and it's fairly common in the NWSL. Players like, hey, I would like to play for a different team, and teams say, okay, we're not going to stand in your way, so they just do that. She was a pretty popular player for the Wave, though, and they're going to have a very new-look team. With Alex Morgan retired, traded some of their original players, moved on, now Jaden Shaw. They still have Naomi Gurma and some newcomers and a good nucleus, but definitely not the same team that they had the first 3 seasons, coming back for this 4th season, changing of coaches, just hired a new coach. Very going to be new look wave this season, this summer, out at Snapdragon Stadium.
Okay.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's play a little Take on Woods. And as I mentioned, Eric is our contestant today on Take on Woods. Eric, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You sound ready to go. Your prize, if you can beat or tie Woods, is qualifying for our grand prize drawing for a 2-night stay at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, 2 tickets to see the Scorpions, and a $100 gas card. Scorpions have been around for 60 years. Craig Elston was flabbergasted by that yesterday.
A long time.
But they are having a new Las Vegas residency show live February 27th to March 11th at PH Live at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All right, your first task is picking our category today, Eric. We've got All In. That's an all 2-second song category. 5 song titles that begin with the word all. We have a mystery category. The first song will dictate the rest of the answers. And we have our new category, 5150 Hold. That is a police term for a psychological evaluation. All of the song titles include a word that means mentally unwell, as it were. So All In, mystery category, or 5150 Hold. Eric, what would you like to play?
Go mystery category.
Oh, okay. Mystery category, 2 days in a row. I don't know if that's ever happened before. All right, I will rate this one a little harder on the difficulty scale, but who knows? I mean, all you need is a couple maybe to see if you can at least tie Woods. The first song is our 2-second song. The title of that song will then appear in all the other answers of the 5. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Again, first question, I need the title and the artist. And if you get that, you'll be in good shape the rest of the way. Eric, you ready to play?
I'm ready. Thanks so much.
All right, I know you've heard this one before. Paul, you ready?
I'm ready.
60 seconds on the clock in the mystery category. Eric, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Josie's on a vacation far away.
Jesse's Girl. Blanking on the band.
It's not Jesse's Girl, which is going to make this tougher.
Okay.
4 Bee Gees songs from Saturday Night Fever's soundtrack hit number 1 on the charts. Staying Alive, Night Fever, If I Can't Have You, and which single that was the album's first track?
Staying Alive?
Incorrect. Redbone sings "'Cause You're Fine and You're Mine and You Look So Divine," in which 1974 song that surged in popularity after being used in the opening sequence of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, pass.
All right, Jack Bruce of the band Cream came up with the distinctive bass line for which 1967 hit that became one of the band's best well-known songs.
Pass. Start from the top.
We'll go back to, it's got one more. What's the phrase that opens the title line of the 1967 Jackie Wilson hit, Higher and Higher, that was used to bring the Statue of Liberty to life in Ghostbusters 2? I knew that was a tough one, but once you didn't get the 2-second song.
Yeah.
Sounds a little like Jesse's Girl, but that's Your Love by The Outfield, which means your love was the phrase that was in all the other answers. How Deep Is Your Love? Come and Get Your Love by Redbone, Sunshine of Your Love by Cream, and Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher and Higher. Like I said, tough category, Eric. Let's see how Woods does. All right, we had Eric. It's now your turn. I'll say this, difficult one today. Okay. I'm curious how you're going to do on this one. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Eric.
It's Your Love by The Outfield.
Correct. 4 Bee Gees songs from Saturday Night Fever's soundtrack hit number 1 on the charts. Staying Alive, Night Fever, If I Can't Have You, and which single that was the album's first track?
Pass.
Redbone sings "'Cause You're Fine and You're Mine and You Look So Divine," in which 1974 song surged in popularity after being used in the opening sequence of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pass.
Jack Bruce of the band Cream came up with the distinctive bass line for which 1967 hit that became one of the band's best well-known songs.
Best well-known songs?
Best well-known songs, yes. Most well-known songs.
Badge?
Incorrect. What's the phrase that opens Title line of the 1967 Jackie Wilson hit Higher and Higher that was used to bring the Statue of Liberty to life in Ghostbusters 2.
What's the what? The line?
Yeah. Blank, Higher and Higher.
You Take Me?
No, incorrect.
Oh, my God.
That was one of the toughest categories. You won 1-0.
Oh, my
Your
God.
Love by the outfield.
Jesus. What's the category?
Your Love. How deep is your love? Come and get your love. Sunshine of your love. And your love keeps lifting me.
Your love keeps lifting.
I mean, you know the songs. I guarantee you know all those songs, but I knew that was going to be
Well, Sunshine of Your Love I would have
one.
nailed if I had the category.
The category, yeah.
But
that
Badge has a really good bass line, too. Jack Bruce is
and
really
you've
good
heard
bass player.
you've heard Redbone.
How's that one go?
Because you're fun and you might and you look. I can't do it with my voice. I can't do it even without my voice. Actually,
yeah. All right.
And How Deep Is Your Love? I mean, that was the Bee Gees
Your Love,
documentary and everything. But yeah, Your Love. That was in every answer today.
Okay.
All right, well, tough one today.
Hey, at least I won.
You got the win. You snuck it out. All right, we'll take a break. Paulie's going to do an early Reindl report. Speaking of music, an NBA player is maybe moving on from his basketball career to a musical career. And I just don't know. I understand that my musical tastes are very far off the beaten path right now of what's popular in 2025.
Yeah.
But I don't get this.
All right. Let's talk about it. You going to do the wiener thing?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do the wiener thing.
This is unbelievable.
Oh, you're going to do that today?
Yeah,
All right,
we'll
sounds
do it now.
good. All right. First, I want to tell everybody about SDFatLoss.com. It was the program that I used to lose 40 pounds in 60 days. Not only did I lose the weight, though, I think the most important thing is that I've kept the weight off for over a year and a half now. It's a sustainable program, and really the difference, there's a lot of ways to lose weight. You can try the injections, but guess what? Once you stop taking the injections, the weight's going to come probably right back on. You can do the bars and shakes and mixes. I did that one. Once you go back to real food, guess what? Your body just reacts and goes boom and explodes back again. But with the SDFatLoss.com program, it's based on real foods like chicken, steak, vegetables, stuff you're eating every day from the grocery store. You learn how to eat, when to eat, portion size, how to prepare your foods. And then you just kind of continue on. It's been a life changer for me. I feel younger. My metabolism is sped up. My energy is through the roof. I sleep better. My pain, joints, knees, back, so much better thanks to SDFatLoss.com. All you have to do, set up a free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. Do it now. Right now in the new year, they're offering $200 off for new clients with their New Year special before January 31st. Take advantage of it today. Set up your free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. See, Jeff is one of our regulars in the chat. I didn't realize he's going to be at Fantasy Camp with you guys next week.
Excited.
That's cool. Some Tier 1s who are making their way over to Peoria, Arizona. And again, we'll be broadcasting live from the Padres Spring Training Facility Tuesday through Friday next week with many of the legends of the franchise in attendance, including Jake Peavy, who was honored last night, inducted into the Breitbart Hall of Fame, along with Adrian Gonzalez and Sharday Houston in a dinner at the Hyatt Aventine in La Jolla. So congratulations to Jake on that great honor last night. Gave a bit of a speech. Saw a little bit online. Didn't get to go last night, but we had the Monday Night Football game and the post-game newscast. But very cool for Jake, and always looking forward to seeing Mr. Peavy
Love him, man.
in person. And, you know, some of the rest of the Padres stars of the past that will be part of Fantasy Camp next week.
I can't wait. Can't wait to see everybody. It's going to be a blast.
And you don't know like what team you're going to be on. They don't decide that until you get there.
No, we do a workout
Sunday
all day on Sunday, and then they'll draft teams that night. There's like dinner in the clubhouse and all that. They'll announce the teams, and then
it's awesome.
We get going Monday. We're actually off on Monday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The whole station is off on Monday, so we'll have 2 games I think under our belts. On Monday, we'll hit the air on Tuesday morning, and then
very sore
double headers every day.
Now, do you know where you're drafted? Do they tell you, or you just end up on a team?
I don't know. I think you just end up on a team.
Do you feel like you're a fairly high draft pick?
I used to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's eyewash. I've seen the pictures. Like, they post a slideshow at the end of the week. Like, they have the full conference room table, and they
like
it
a
looks
live
like they're
fantasy
doing a draft,
but with real people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to be. I don't think I am anymore.
So last year you were drafted by Terry Kennedy.
Yeah, it didn't work.
But you guys just kind of were oil and water. He ended up trading you.
Yeah, you don't like
midweek.
me for some reason. It's fine. Some people don't like me. I don't like some people.
We won the next 2 games after we traded Woods.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Got rid of the clubhouse cancer.
Allegedly. And many would say I'm a glue guy. But
not Terry Kennedy.
Not Terry Kennedy. For what I rubbed him the wrong way for whatever reason. Just out there giving my best effort every day. First and only person ever traded in fantasy camp. It was it was an auspicious start.
Which puts you guys on different teams for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Which meant
we can do.
Which wasn't the worst thing, because then you had sometimes different game times. Occasionally, you guys have to leave the show to go play in a game. You'll stick around as long as possible, but you can't let your teammates down.
Correct.
When you're on the field.
Right.
So we lose you occasionally during the week, but should have a good week next week. Looking forward to it.
The alumni that'll be there, Arky Sinfracco and Tim Flannery are coaching together.
Yes.
Carlos Hernandez and Wally Joyner.
Great team.
Andy Ashby and Jake Peavy.
Great team.
I don't know how much they're going to win, but they're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Heath Bell and Chris Gomez.
Just all business.
Brett Boone and Brian Lawrence.
Great team.
The Killer Bees. We have Greg Garcia and
Gigi.
Gary Templeton.
I love that team too.
Mark Grant, Mark Loretta.
I played for those guys. They don't take it seriously.
Dave Dravecki and Terry Kennedy are back.
See, as much as I would love to play for Dave,
comes with Terry.
Dave's very encouraging. Flan, I would like to play for Flan.
Terry once managed Ricky Henderson.
I know.
He couldn't handle you.
Couldn't handle me. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
So weird. Very strange. Paulie, take it away. I want to get to this.
We got traffic and then our Reindl Report here next on the Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
The westbound King Freeway's been up to no good this morning. Crash at College Avenue, blocking the slow lane. Up ahead before the 15, got a stalled vehicle in the center divide and some more slowing into downtown, all due to this crash that cleared near the 5. Now crash on southbound side of the 163 before the 52. That's got the fast lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, let's start with the local story, and then we'll get weird after this one. So we mentioned it very briefly yesterday morning, that yesterday was another monumental day in San Diego sports. As you know, the Ben & Woods show, big soccer show.
Huge soccer show.
Go SDFC.
Nice. Paulie's wearing his kit.
It was not planned, but I am wearing it. And so yesterday they had their first ever training session at the Sharp Healthcare Performance Center out there in Sequan.
Singing Hill, Sequan, El Cajon out there. Yep.
Yeah, so they all got together for their very first workout as a team. They're getting ready for their first match here coming up in just a few weeks. You weren't out there?
I was not. Now, my colleague Steve Smith went out for the first practice, talked to the head coach, came in studio with us for our Christmas and holiday extravaganza, Mikey Varas.
Yeah.
The GM, Tyler Heaps, Tom Penn, who's the CEO. And then they got to shoot some of the practice video. And I did not realize this. Neither did Steve, actually. Steve, we came around. We used to cover the Chargers, and they'd be very strict on when you could shoot. Like, there's 15-minute window. You can shoot this part, stretching. They didn't want to give away any of their, like trick plays, strategies and stuff. We didn't realize soccer's kind of the same way. They were very regimented. You got 15 minutes. You got to stand between here and here. Don't shoot this. Don't shoot that. Don't shoot. I mean, taking it really seriously. Not that I didn't expect them to take it seriously, and obviously my soccer knowledge needs to start getting to the next level here as we have a team in town. But I didn't think you could give that much away on the first practice of all time. Are you installing some trick plays, or do they have trick plays in soccer? The hidden ball trick or anything?
Yes, the hidden guy puts it under his shirt and runs down like it's his pregnant belly. Where did it go? Where did it go? And then at the last second, he punches it out and kicks it in the goal. Yes. The old pregnant trick.
Just felt more I know they have set, there's
set
plays,
pieces.
set pieces, and you charge and stuff, but I didn't realize they were taking it security was tight, like in an NFL facility. I
like it. All business.
They are all business at San Diego
Good.
FC, even for their very first practice.
Good. That's how it should be.
Beautiful venue, though, out there. I saw the pictures. I mean,
keep the media.
The hills of Sequan out there. It's very nice.
Keep the media out of it. It can only do harm, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. The first story that's kind of bizarre that we teased. LiAngelo Ball, one of the Ball brothers. He was
there's 3, right?
Yeah, there's
Lonzo, LaMelo, and LiAngelo. And dad is LeVar.
Yep. LiAngelo was the least basketball talent-wise.
Correct.
Of the 3, but hey, he played in the NBA, so whether it was hype or not,
he's done.
He's in the fraternity. No, I think he's still playing, isn't he?
I don't think he currently is on a roster.
He's not
I do not believe he is.
So, when in doubt,
Yeah, go to Plan B.
Plan B.
And we've seen this before with athletes who maybe it's just a hobby instead of an actual career or job where they put out some music. And LiAngelo Ball, this was from Shams Charania, the NBA insider for ESPN, says that LiAngelo Ball yesterday signed a deal with Def Jam and Universal Music Group, and the deal is worth as much as $13 million.
Hey.
$8 million guaranteed for LiAngelo, and it gives him full ownership of his music and his own record label. So, Woods, you could probably speak more. I don't know. In current day and age, is that a lot of money? Is that pretty normal?
I think that's a massive.
That seems like a lot of money.
That's a massive amount of money.
And to have your own rights of the music.
Having publishing, having all the control of your music and creative.
What does Def Jam get out of this? We don't own the music. You get your own record label. We're giving you a ton of money. What do they get? Merchandise?
Percentage.
Okay.
Yeah. Percentage.
Is he going to sell that much? I mean,
he had a song, Tweaker that came out, I think, a few weeks ago.
On YouTube. It's got 8 million views.
It has done quite well. It's getting a lot of pub from like basketball players, which helps. I understand that.
He was the number 2 overall pick by the Lakers.
So that was was that?
No, yeah, that was
LiAngelo.
Yeah. No, Lonzo. Lonzo released the song
Lonzo.
ZO2. That's right.
He did. That was to promote Big Baller Brand.
That's right.
But this is actual supposedly.
Middle brother went undrafted. Was given chances by the Pistons, Hornets, Lakers. Failed to make a regular season.
That's
roster.
LiAngelo.
That's LiAngelo.
Yeah.
I thought he was the little brother. No, that's
LaMelo.
LaMelo.
He's the one who went like to Australia for a couple of years, so he wouldn't get drafted.
Everyone said, like Lonzo's had a decent career. But everybody said LaMelo would be the best of the 3 brothers.
LeVar did say he'd go 3 for 3.
You know how there's helicopter
Spoke
parents,
that into existence.
that micromanage their kids and their career. LeVar Ball is like the osprey. I mean, he's an entire Air Force in managing all of his kids' marketing and media.
You can't hate because look what's happened.
I just don't know how do you get $8 million guaranteed and up to $13 million on one song that is.
That got blown up on TikTok.
Can we play some of it?
I mean, if you really want to hear it.
Yeah, I have to.
I might swerve in that corner, whoa. Hold on tight, cause I tweaking this letting go. And I heard that she wanna show, me who should be, I'm kinda with it, show me some.
Okay, kinda like it. All right, not terrible.
So
is one not terrible song worth $13 million?
Yeah, he's going to put out a record, so it's probably a 2-album, 3-album
They already
deal.
said he's got a second single on its way.
It's just the single culture is what bothers me. I'm an album guy. Put out a record. I don't want 14 singles dropped over the course of 6 years. Give me I want to put out your record.
Isn't it like they do 2 to 3 singles promoting the upcoming album?
And then where's the album? So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the
put
album
in the work making the music.
Yeah, of course. A lot of people just they just do an album and then they release it, and the first single is track 3, and then they go from there. This is like, here's the single. I promise you there's more coming. You're really going to like it.
It's a lot of money on that one.
It's a lot.
Just taste of a song,
yeah,
essentially.
it's a lot. It's
for somebody that doesn't have the background, like the catalog to
it's a big.
prove
I think
themselves.
it's a really good deal for him, man.
For him,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do you say no? You're like, wait, what? How much? Okay, where do I sign?
Yeah, Guznair says they have to do it that way now. People don't buy records or albums as much as before. Yep, it's true.
Yeah. All right,
All right, let's go.
Finally, I guess this is sportsy.
Yeah, this is a sports
for our third.
This is a sports story.
I'm
Ben.
literally reading from ESPN here. Woodsy, you sent this over yesterday.
Sure did.
Let me just, I guess, read you the headline, and we'll parse it out.
We can go from there.
Lazio, the Serie A club?
Top Italian soccer league, Serie A.
Serie A. So Lazio, the headline says Lazio part ways with Falconer over.
Well, Falconer, like
he's a falconer.
Person who
he releases the
Falcons
into around the stadium, and it's a cool.
It's like
thing.
their mascot, they're the Lazio Falcons.
So he is the guy that does the lets the eagle soar,
and then it returns to his part ways with Falconer over quote penile implant posts. And yesterday it was announced that they have let this man go, the Falconer. after the local media there reported that he had shared images of his implants on social media.
When you get your penile implant, my only advice to you is just keep it off your Instagram story, Benjamin. Okay?
Hold on. Okay.
They became aware of photographs and videos on social media.
So he had some sort of medical procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Was this like optional or medically necessary?
No, it was not. It was not. He did not have.
This was elective.
It was an elective surgery.
Elective surgery.
Correct.
Was it like an enlargement process or what?
No.
What do we know anything about this?
He said
particular surgery.
So he said he had the implant to increase his performance. And he has no regrets over his behavior. He said, I put the video on my private profile, so it's a private thing. If people then circulate it, what can I do? My conscience is clear. I published it only to let people know about the surgery. I've never regretted anything, let alone doing it for something that has a medical purpose.
Is it possible he got like a discount on the surgery
by
because he was famous?
Plug-ola.
Well, yeah, exactly. It was like, yeah, you just need to post about
it.
I mean, some before and after pictures.
Let's work a deal here. I'll post the surgery if you give me a 25% discount.
He pulled the Ben Higgins. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, do you know who I am? He says, I had the surgery to increase my performance because I'm very active. I need to...
Not to brag.
I can't say that.
I'm very active.
But I need to complete, whenever I have free time, a wonderful surgery. I had it to be as good as I was when I was young.
Is there surgeries that do that?
So this is the fascinating part. Is normal, is natural, but with this device, I press a button that allows me to perfectly control both the...
What?
Wait, so he's like...
It's a button.
Iron Man now.
Just he can push a button and...
There's a button.
Like a robot
This is not where I was...
He said I would advise people to have this.
This is not where I was going. Is it like a... I mean, is it like... remote button, or is it like attached by a wire? Is there a wire or something?
He said there's a button that he pushes.
Is it an app? Is it like Wi-Fi? Is it Wi-Fi connected?
It's Wi-Fi connected.
Bluetooth?
And you go to the bedroom and you go, I need your Wi-Fi password.
What's your password? Oh, no.
What's your Wi-Fi password?
Sorry, babe, do you have a firewall up? I'm not able to get it.
He is tickled pink. It's a button.
A button. So much for foreplay. It's just
can he get hacked?
Yeah.
Someone takes control of the button.
Don't let the button get into the wrong hands. Because you're sitting at lunch. Hey, who's got my button? I didn't ask for this. I did not ask for this. Paulie, are you pressing my button again? Gives new meaning to the term. She really presses my buttons. Stupid.
Oh, God.
Holy cow, dude.
I guess I had no idea.
Nor did I.
Technology is really
advanced.
Worked.
He said...
I mean, what happened to pills?
He said that this is amazing.
Little blue pills. This seems like a really...
So it's funny. He said, I used to rely daily on pills. Being able to control this is a step forward in my life. When I have free time, I always want to have sex. I would like to do it at least once or twice a day. Where do you live? Fantasyland? Once or twice a day? Good. How horned up are you? You're 56 years old, dude.
Are falconers that? I mean...
Oh, God. You ever get surgery and they give you the morphine button and you're just laying there like, please, God, give me more morphine. This guy's just all the time pressing his button. This is the greatest story I've ever heard. And so he's dug it. He's like, I haven't seen the pictures. I want to see the picture. I don't know why, but I want to see what I'm looking at here.
I'm sure you can find it.
I looked. I couldn't find it. If somebody finds it, please send it to me.
I mean, I think we need video of the button being pressed.
Yeah. Just really, really interesting. It's really interesting.
At least it says TMI, Falcon Guy.
Yeah, Falcon Guy is not afraid. And he is like Not only is he not afraid, he's dug in. He's like, how dare you question my posting my own dong?
He's been wronged. He's been wronged by this Lazio soccer team.
I think so, too. I think he has a legit case.
So you know how nowadays when not a celebrity, but somebody goes viral, maybe somebody streaks across a field or something, and it goes viral, they always get the offer from like one of those websites,
Corn Tub or something.
Yeah, Cam Soda.
Yeah,
Hey, we're gonna offer you, $50,000 to join us. Like this guy's gonna be getting offers, right?
56 years old, and he's once or twice a day. I don't think I would if I could once or twice. That's exhausting. I'm exhausted thinking about it.
Do you have to charge it? Like, does it plug into an outlet?
Hang on. My charger's all jacked up. Oh my God, dude!
Is it USB-C? I don't have a USB-C. I have USB-A.
That's incredible. My favorite story of the year so far. That's the story of the year so far. Write that down. Yeah. Save it. That's the story of the year so far.
We get ready to welcome San Diego radio legend Dave Rickards.
I bet Dave Rickards would have appreciated that.
I bet he would have liked that story.
He will join us for our final hour coming up next with Better Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben and Woods here on a Tuesday. Just a reminder, our biggest fan contest is returning on January 27th. That's in less than 2 weeks. The grand prize, a spectacular night in the Odyssey Suite. Woo. That's at a Padres game. 20 tickets for you and your friends to enjoy it luxuriously. Watch a Padres game, and all you need to do to enter is register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggestfan, and then start listening on January 27th, and we'll start announcing names. So during our show at 9 a.m., during the Annie and Elston program at 1 p.m., and then during the Gwen and Chris show at 5:30 p.m. every day, 3 chances to hear your name. If you do, you'll get a chance to call back and then qualify for the grand prize drawing. But right now, simple. Just put your name into the hopper by going to 973thefansd.com/biggestfan, and that's the way that you can get into our contest, our biggest fan contest.
I love the biggest fan, and if for all the people that have won it, you'll love
Just
it.
ask them.
Time of your life.
I'm told our special guest is on his way up, so that
Yes.
should be here in just a couple of minutes.
My heart's racing.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Very excited. Have that kind of awkward moment where now we have to
we're like on the
greet
air.
him in on the air, but you'll just have
he
to
knows all about
bear
awkward
with us.
moments.
Yeah, well,
He had
you
a
do
few.
know that he is well aware of all the intricacies of radio.
Like, there's nothing that we
no
will
surprises.
encounter that he has not already dealt with.
Interesting.
How many years was he on
Like
in
30.
the mornings? Yeah,
Like 30 years.
at least, I think.
It's insane. I'm coming up on 15. On February 1st is my 15th year in San Diego radio, which is amazing to think about. And I can't even fathom doing that twice. Hey, when I get to February 1st, you go, hey, buddy, you're halfway home. That's nuts.
So in March, will this be our 8th anniversary as a show together? Seventh year as a show together coming up in March. And I'll tell you what, it's taken most of that time just to kind of develop the chemistry that you need to have. So it's pretty amazing to have that kind of longevity. And there he is. He's walking into the studio. I will say that when I was a younger broadcaster, I worked in the same building with our next guest. I don't know that I ever actually spoke to him. I think I was a little too nervous to do so at the time. Passed him in the hallway certainly a few times, but mostly kept my eyes to the carpet and just kept to my own business. But it is a pleasure to welcome and introduce a San Diego radio legend joining us here on Ben and Woods this morning, Dave Rickards of the DSC program.
Well, thank you.
That voice.
There it is. What a guy. Thank you so much. What do you mean, eyes to the ground?
I didn't speak to you much, if at all, over my I was nervous. Honestly, you're
intimidating.
You haven't. Not because you had a bad reputation, but I knew that you had a big show, and I had no business as a young, nobody broadcaster speaking to one Dave Rickards.
I've got that dick look on my face all the time. Don't
I get
talk
that too
to me.
now. I get that too from other people.
He has that
no one
too.
talks to me either, so I don't know why.
This has been a long time in the making. I've been trying to get you on this show for the last couple of years now.
Or on the golf course.
Or on the golf course, one of the two. I feel like I'm better in here. Mick could impress you a little more in here than out there. He would impress you on the golf course.
Oh, yeah? Is that
Dave.
right?
He's a stick.
He's a player?
Well, how have you been?
Great. Very good. Other than, these damn fires, they drive me crazy. We had a tiny little spark out by my house today, and I called your man Paulie and I said, I don't know if I'm coming in because everyone's watching this app like crazy. Everyone's on edge. My kids live up right by the fires up in L.A. right now, so it's been that's been no fun. But other than that, everything's good. Retirement is everything it's cracked up to be.
Well, and so that's kind of where I wanted to start. Goose and I here would like to thank you for losing your edge and turning in your wings when you did, because without that happening, we would not have been able to go to Top Gun. We never would have gotten a ratings bonus. And since you've left, we've been bonused every quarter. So I want to thank you again for letting us slide into your spot.
Thanks, Merlin.
Yeah, thank you, Merlin.
Cougar lost the turn of his wings. You guys are number
I'm telling you.
You two characters.
Going to Top Gun.
Going to Top Gun. I can't believe what I'm going to say.
I can't believe what I'm about to do here.
I love that.
Ben will Venmo you your royalties.
Right on.
I remember I was sitting in here that morning and I just flipped. I flipped, and it was sad, and it was happy for you because I know what a grind it can be. And then I was obviously happy for myself because I thought, well, because we love to compete, right? We were competition and all pulling for the same ears. And with podcasting now, people can go, they can listen to you guys live, come and listen to us later. It happens. There's a lot more. Kind of sharing of audience, but when you're in the morning radio arena, you know this. You want every listener. You want every single one. You want loyalty. You don't want them going anywhere else. And when you guys left, I went, all right, boys, like we got to step our game up now, and we have a shot. And it's been great. Obviously, your voice is
good
missed.
For you, man. That's awesome.
It's been great. So thank you again for retiring. My family thanks you. My kids thank you. My wife thanks you.
Well, you're lucky because that would happen with me. Some big shows would move on or retire or whatever, and I would tell my crew, okay, now we've got to pick up where they left off. Nothing happened. Zero. No movement. Nothing. I'm like, where'd they go? Where did the audience go? So nothing. Not to us, that's for sure.
Dave Rickards joins us now, and it's funny. I've thought this about you for many, many years, and you can answer if this is a myth or if it's reality. You obviously have the talent to work in any market that you want to. And I always wondered, how many offers did you get over the years to move different places? And is the reason you stayed because, well, look outside, it's San Diego?
So I worked a lot of places. I worked, I started when I was a kid, I was working in Chicago, and then finished college, went to Milwaukee, then Indianapolis, then back to Chicago, then Denver, and then here in 1990. And in those times, yeah, I had a lot of. The only way to get ahead was to go get a job offer. That was the only way. And I always was excited about moving to a different place. I loved going to a new town. So the places I didn't go were Tampa, Houston, Boston. I forget. There was Raleigh. I forget. There were a few other places. And that was the only way that you could get a job offer. Or to get ahead at where you were. At least were the companies I worked for. The only way you were going to get a raise is to threaten to leave. So, and then sometimes they say, well, there's the door. Be on your way. Forget it. Go take that job offer.
And then you got here and started to establish yourself and your show.
I interviewed in this studio.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We were offered your show.
Oh, my God. I had
many years ago. Yeah.
Oh, when it flipped to that machine thing?
I think it was going to be, I'm not.
No, it was like two weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago they interviewed. Hey, he's here to announce they're back, and they're in mornings here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah.
See you later, everybody.
This place was just being built. They weren't in here yet.
Yeah, we weren't either.
I saw this room as it was being built, and we were always struggling for our job. Even when we were doing fine, we were always like, well, I don't know if they're going to hire us again. I don't know if they're going to sign us to another contract. So, we were always talking to other people. And I remember being in here, and we were coming over here. There was a guy who worked here who was running this place that I loved, Bob Bollinger.
I love Bob, yep.
I'd go to work again for Bob in a heartbeat. Yep. I love that guy. And he was inviting us over here, and I don't know. The launch on this place seemed a little bit sideways. There were some funky people who were working here, and then they brought in some big executive from New York, and I failed the interview with him, and they were like, take a hike. And
wow, that's insane.
We were always desperately trying to get a job, even at our own radio station. That's the truth.
It's true. It's the nature of the business.
It's truth, yeah.
The voice doesn't need much introduction, but we got Dave Rickards in studio from the DSC program. We have a lot of DSC listeners who are in with us in our chat right now, and I think they'd like to know, caught up on all of your radio colleagues. How's everybody doing? What are you up to? Just kind of where's life
they're
stand?
in the wind. They're gone.
They're gone.
Never
haven't heard
from
Shane
him
in years.
No, he's gone.
Where is he?
I don't know. I don't know. He could be next door. He could be in Taiwan. I have no idea. Haven't heard from him since. I hear from Boyer from time to time.
Oh, my God.
I ran into Shelley at Costco. I talked to Sarah from time to time, and that's it. The big man, the dean of American sportscasters. I question was it a dream? Am I Pamela Ewing waking up?
Yeah.
Or Bobby Ewing? Whatever. Who had the dream? Was it Pamela Ewing on Dallas? Did it ever
Bobby,
happen?
yeah.
Yeah. He's just gone.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he's gone.
Woods knows that when our time comes, whenever it is,
I'll never hear from him again. Paulie and I will be brothers until the day we die. I will never hear from Ben again, ever, which is wild to me.
Our fans would always say, "What do you guys do after the show? Do y'all hang out? I mean, do you go to lunch?" It's like, no, gone. See you later. We love each other desperately, and we'd get to, we would start our day early. We'd be there long before 6 o'clock started. And we were there together for a long time. We were together for 33 years.
Wow.
And, when the show was done, if someone said, hey, I'm having a party, or like in my case, I'm getting married, they'd be like, oh God.
Yeah.
Do I have to come? Do I have to come to that? We did not want to hang out together after the show.
It's interesting, though, because you spend more time with your radio co-hosts than you do with your spouse.
Yep.
And your kids.
That's right.
You really do. You don't think about it. Do you talk to your significant other 4 straight hours at any point? Maybe 4 hours a week.
Maybe.
At most, you don't.
Now, we lay next to each other and scroll our phones together, but we don't really speak. Like, really, ever after the kids are asleep.
It's an intimate relationship to be on the air with someone for that long, that many hours.
And people look at you when you say it. It's like, no, I don't talk to them. I don't know where they are. I literally don't know what state he lives in. So, wow, maybe they didn't get along. So, no, we get along fine.
Yeah.
We got along when we were working together, and then we went our separate ways, and that was probably the key ingredient to getting along.
It's the most important thing, and people ask us the same question. And we actually do hang out a little bit outside of work. We play golf together.
Woods makes me.
I force him to do it. It's important, for the chemistry of the show. But I also genuinely love these guys and love their company. But it's true. Like the intimate relationship that you have is a weird one. You always care how they're doing. You don't need to be involved in every intimate detail of their life.
Right.
You just don't.
Do you remember the PD phrase clock integrity? It's time to take a break.
Yes, clock integrity.
I never paid attention to that.
Yeah, we never did.
We got to check traffic. Woods has got to do a little spot here. We got Dave Rickards in studio. We'll get some more stories. We mentioned the one legendary April Fool's Day prank. We were wondering how much trouble you actually got in for that one. We'll talk about that coming up. First, here's Woodsy.
If you're a California sports fan, good news. Underdog is available to play in your state. That's our state. We can now play Underdog, the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going off, which ones are ice cold. Based on some of my recent performances, I need to spend a little bit more time in the Underdog app this week. I was just looking at the games ahead this weekend. Like, will Patrick Mahomes throw an interception? I think he will. I'm gonna take one, over half of an interception. But with their pick'em game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. All you got to do, choose higher or lower on player stats, yards, touchdowns, picks, and more. So Underdog, again, the best place to play pick'em. Download the app today. You can sign up with the promo code Woods. When you sign up, please deposit now. You'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Woods when you sign up. Must be 18 and over, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Chat. She says, I've known Steven for 11 years. This is the moment he's been waiting for all 11 of those years and beyond. And she knows you are very revered in the Woods household by me. Dave Rickards joins the Ben and Woods program today.
She's a cookie. I like that girl.
She is, man. She is something else. She's also a huge, huge fan as well.
Likewise.
So, yeah.
How did the process work for you guys? I mean, I know it's taken us years just to figure out our process. I don't know if we've even figured out our process yet. But when you were like putting together a show, daily morning show, hours, how many hours were you on? 4 or 5?
4. Well, we never. 10 o'clock didn't mean anything to us. We'd go until we were done.
You could just keep going.
Yeah.
We're a little more on the.
We're trying to get out at 9. Actually, sorry, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, they'll cut your pay if you do that. So don't let them. Don't let them talk into that.
How did your process work?
So when we were dialed in, it was kind of a follow the leader kind of a thing. I would come in, and I had a plan for the day, and that was in my head. And whether the plan worked out or not, everyone got in line and followed me. My mantra was support the host. Support the host. Whatever I'm doing, get behind me and just follow me in. And 4 times a morning, support the host became let's see what Chainsaw's doing, because he had his own. He was in his own world. And every morning at 6, 7, 8, and 9:20, he was doing his sports, and that was. I had nothing to do with that unless he invited me in or I gave him an idea, something like that. But he was his own satellite going around our show.
That's amazing. Support the host, Ben.
And you support the host.
I will support the host. I feel like I do support the host.
You do support the host. You're very supportive.
And for many years, Chainsaw stayed kind of that satellite just going around the show. He would just drop in. But around... I'm going to say around 98, 2000, something like that, he decided, okay, it's all right for me to get on the radio without a script. I'll join the talk radio guys, because Chainsaw was all written out. He was very carefully, his process, his preparation was precise. And just coming on and talking like you guys do every day, which is a skill that most people don't have, he was reluctant to be part of that. But once he got into it, he loved it.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
And I think it's important for Woods and I that we want to be ourselves. Our honest self. And Woods gave me some great advice when we started this show. I still think about it almost every single day. Be yourself, but just like plus 10%. Just, just amplify your beliefs, your quirks. Just let it loose. And it was such a freeing moment for me. Do you feel like you were true to yourself?
Oh, yeah.
On the radio every
100%.
day? Yeah.
It's so much easier to do that rather than to sit there and work at what kind of a persona am I trying to be? Because most people are alike. And if you start talking about some stupid problem you're having at home, 50% of the people listening to you are going, oh, I'm going through that right now, too.
Well, did you find it hard 7 years ago when we started, I was a bit more vociferous. And I think as I look back on it now, more performative. But I didn't mean to. It's genuinely how I felt in the time. But I've had kids.
Vociferous and performative?
He was an English major.
I thought I was on a sports station. What am I, on PBS? What the hell is going on?
So I would...
Do you ever make the loud noises and the hurrahs?
I would get mad. I would get mad, and I would pound the table. And then I've gotten older. I've had kids. I feel like I'm a little bit wiser, and I'm like, can I be the new me? Now you were always honest about like your personal struggles and things like that. You were always very open about your sobriety and things like that. Do you find it harder as you got through your career of like, oh, I need to act more like the old Dave, or no, this is the new Dave. You guys can either like it or not.
No, and you'll watch this happen with your career. You start out when you're a young guy and you're appealing to the young people, and then you get married and you have kids and you're appealing to the middle crowd, and then you get a little bit older and all of a sudden the 25, 54 people fall madly in love with you. So as you get a little bit older, your audience is getting older with you. It works out great.
I know this is going to come as a shock to our tier ones, but Woods has always pushed me a little bit beyond where I've been comfortable as a sports guy, TV guy. I'm more buttoned up, and he always wants, let's take some chances. Let's do some things that are a little on the edge.
That's him in a mesh shirt.
Nice. I like that. That's a good look. I like that.
Thank you.
Let me see that again. I might want to push my button. I like that.
Amazing?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So you guys took some chances on the DSC show. One of them, a legendary April Fool's Day prank, when you convinced a good portion of San Diego that the space shuttle was going to land right over here at Montgomery Field. Tell me about that story, the
origin,
the fallout, and what exactly happened.
So April 1st is our show anniversary. That's our first day, April 1st, 1990. And so we consider that our high holy holiday, and we treated April Fool's Day as an opportunity to try and pull off a gag. And we did probably 7 or 8 really good April Fool's Day jokes, but nothing compared to landing the space shuttle, which I think that was in 92 or 93, which is when we peaked, and it was all downhill for the next 30 years after that. But, it was one of those, if you saw it, if you were in the studio watching it, it was the most basic chewing gum and baling twine thing held together, the dumbest little thing put together that just lightning in a bottle got captured that day. And we just started the morning by saying, hey, it's not an emergency, but there was a problem at Edwards Air Force Base where the space shuttle normally lands. Who knew that Montgomery Field was the backup? Because it's so close. Yeah. They had some sort of power failure up there, so they're going to land the space shuttle here today. It's pretty cool. When are we going to get a chance to see that again? So if you want to see the space shuttle land, Montgomery Field this morning. And we faked up some phone calls and made it sound like it was really happening. And then we had just a ton of people out there to watch it happen. And right when the shuttle was about to touch down, Chainsaw, who was Commander Burns, as the so-called commander of the space shuttle, said, has anyone said April Fool's Day?
Oh, my God.
It was, it was fun. It was a fun little gag, and the media picked up on it. Next thing I know, we were on CNN headline news, and then all the guys and women who follow us in the Navy and the Marines were sending us newspapers from overseas. And you got to remember, this is before the internet and before email and all that kind of. So newspapers were still important. So we're seeing these headlines in these newspapers from everywhere, from France to Saudi Arabia, about this gag that we pulled. I'm playing the tape on CNN because, look at me, I made CNN. It's a big deal. Meanwhile, the president of our company and the general manager of our company are losing their minds. They're absolutely losing their minds. And as far as I can tell, the biggest complaint that they had was they might have to pay the police for parking. This is what they kept saying. It was. They kept saying, do you realize that we're going to possibly have to pay the police? And I said, what are you talking about? They had to send police out there to direct traffic. And I said, that's their job. They do that every day. And, of course, no bill came from the police. Yep. And, I don't know how many times at how many radio stations our managers have said, we're going to lose our license. We're not going to lose our license. No one's ever lost their license in the history of broadcasting. Jesus, settle down.
They do hold that over your head a lot in this business.
Do.
We're going to lose our license.
We're going to lose our license. And I got to tell you, one of the radio stations I worked for, in the last, 10, 15 years, something like that, the closest we came to losing our license was her fault because she was a convicted felon. And you're not allowed to hold a broadcast license when you're a convicted felon. And she sat us down. She sat us down in the conference room one day when Boyer decided to show us nuts on CBS TV. This is 5 minutes after I told Boyer, when you go in there, don't do anything stupid. Be cool. Just sit there. In fact, don't talk. Don't even look at the cameras. This is when we were working at an AM/FM TV station. We would do this cross promote, and I sent Boyer, and Boyer heard me say I said, don't do anything stupid, and he heard me go, I better show my nuts on TV.
Oh my God!
And so he did, and the camera tilted right up, and he started jumping up to get his nuts up into the camera shot. So we get called in to the owner/manager's office, and she's like, we're probably going to lose our license over the... Nothing happened. She was the one who called the FCC and said, one of our guys showed his nuts. I was like, are you crazy?
Oh, my God.
Well, we got to get out in front of this. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know anything about it. You get behind it. You hide. You tell people,
don't answer the phone.
Nothing happened.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't do anything like that. And, of course, she goes on to be a convicted felon, and she's the one who was going to cost us the license. So we never got fined a day in our lives.
That's so refreshing to hear, because I'm threatened all the time by management here, and now you've just taken the reins off of me, Dave Rickards. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we've got one more segment with Dave Rickards. I want to hear about some of the interviews, guests that have stood out over the years.
Radio beef. Things like that.
I know you want to hear about that as well.
All of it.
First, you want to get in the action with Prize Picks. It is fantasy. It is daily fantasy, but they have got it right. 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash simply by picking more or less on between 2 and 6 player stat projections in whatever sport you're watching, whether it's football playoff season, basketball's going on right now, hockey, soccer's about to get started here. They have lineups that you can set every single day. As many as you like, as few as you like. You play the way you want to play, and it's so easy. To sign up, all you have to do, go to their website, download the app at prizepicks.com. When you do, use our code KWFN. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's a lot of free play to get you started, build up a little bit of a bankroll by using the code KWFN. Get your $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. It's very easy to upload. They've got MasterCard, Venmo, Apple Pay, and when you win, it's really easy to get your money back in your account. I've already done it a few times. I've been up for this last year, just really having fun with it. You can do the same. With Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. The stories keep flowing. Unfortunately, we do have to take a couple of breaks, but we're done with those until the end of the show, coming up at 10 o'clock, Annie and Elston. We got Dave Rickards in studio from the legendary DSC program, over 30 years on the air here in San Diego. I listened, growing up, going to school in the morning. You probably don't like hearing that.
No, I love it. I love it. No, I do. I know what you mean. But I mean, look,
you're not that much older than I am, but
right.
I did listen, driving to high school in the mornings. And
no one avoids Father Time. That's okay. It's so cool, actually, when you run into people who are 45 years old and their kids aren't even kids anymore. And they're like, I listened to you in the back seat when my parents were driving me, and sometimes we had to turn the radio off. And you look at these people, it's like, wow, I've been part of their life. They've been part of my life for a long time. It's cool. I'm down with it. Anybody who tells you otherwise is stupid. They've missed the gift. Honestly,
it is a gift.
Forget that. I mean, everybody ages, everyone gets old, and that should be a good thing for you.
The alternative is something you definitely don't want.
I don't want that.
There you go. So, I wanted to ask you about some of your interviews that you did over the years. Like, who was like? I think as a host, you always feel like, all right, that was pretty cool that I had a chance to talk to so-and-so. What are the ones that stand out in your mind from your radio career?
It might be a disappointment because I am such a rocket head. I mean, I just love space, flight, moon, exploration, stuff like that. So talking to Alan Shepard, Apollo 12. Wow. Apollo 14. Guy who walked on the moon. That, to me, he was part of the Gemini and the Mercury program and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if there's any guys left who actually walked on the moon. And so that was a personal thrill for me. He was super cool. There's nothing like, as you guys know, there's nothing like having someone that you're really looking forward to come into the studio and they're down. They're super cool.
They get it.
Yeah.
And athletes are tough because very few of them get it. Especially the bigger they are, the less they get it. Right?
I'm generally not looking forward to athletes.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hang with anyone but athletes.
Yeah.
Which I'm not.
Right.
Not at all. And I have so much experience with athletes, and whatever it is in their culture and their life, they really, I've watched this so many times, they really only want to hang with other professional athletes.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's their choice. That's their whole thing. But they just don't want anything to do with me. And it's a drag when someone comes into your studio and you're like, they're doing this because they have to. And it's like, oh, God, I'm going to make this as easy for you, quick as possible. But every one of my interviews that I liked, that I enjoyed, the thing that bugged me about it is I'd run out of time.
Yes.
I want you for an hour.
Yeah.
I want you for 2 hours.
With no
like
breaks.
None.
None.
I don't want to stop.
No.
Forget it. No one wants us to stop.
It
this
kills,
is great talk.
Kills the momentum. It's why, Stern's successful where he's successful because he can go for 2 hours. And you look up and you go, I just listened to him interview Eddie Vedder for 2 hours straight, 2.5 hours, and they didn't have to take a break or anything like that. The momentum flow, continues to go. It's incredible, and that makes it tough. All right, I got 7 minutes with this guy. So how was last night's game? Like, what are you looking forward to? It really, which is why, and we fight tooth and nail about this. I'm like, I don't want any interviews. No more. I'd rather just talk and shoot the breeze.
Two guys who were great, who broke that mold that I was talking about, were Tony and Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor's amazing.
I love those guys because they were fun. And Tony, I've never known a more generous athlete interview guy in my day. He was the best.
Hard to say. He had a hard time saying no to interviews.
Yeah,
right?
he was so good.
He would do tons, and of course we get to work with his son here, who's awesome. And Dave Rickards joins us in studio. So listen, the radio business can be a little bit. It can be a little bit bitchy at times. Shows get bitchy with each other. Shows get bitchy with each other in the same building. But when it's your competition, who when you look back at your career, did you go, oh, God, we had beef with them?
Oh, Jeff and Jer.
Jeff and Jer.
And
would you say it on the air?
Oh, yeah.
Because I always have a hard time. Shows take shots, and I have a hard time punching back. I don't have a hard time punching back. I don't punch first, though. That's the thing. So you would take shots at them.
I would, but that all comes from insecurity and fear because I couldn't beat those guys for 10 years, our first 7, 8, 10 years, something like that, before we could get ahead of Jeff and Jer. So that was all insecurity on my part. I was mad. I was angry. I was convinced they were paying off the ratings people.
They're cheating somehow.
No,
PEDs.
They didn't deserve the success that they had, all that stuff. So, yeah, I was a jerk to them. I was an absolute jerk to them. And Jeff in particular, I think, is probably... I think inside he's probably the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He really is. And when we got brought together in the same company, and I was sitting in the program director's office before our first show, and Jeff walked in and sat down and tried pulling off a little gag, and I was really, really starstruck and insecure, and I didn't get it. And the poor guy went out of his way to say hello, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with you. Get away from me. I wanted to kick his ass.
That's amazing.
I was not good to him. I wasn't.
That's incredible. Yeah. And you can admit it now.
I have no other way. There's no other way. If I went back 20 years ago or whatever that was, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's just my way.
That's just the way.
Yeah. I always am I'm hesitant when Woods mentions any other radio station at all. I
really don't talk about other stations.
Don't talk about anybody else.
Yeah,
it's like,
a lot of people don't
hey,
like that.
There's nothing that exists outside of this studio, right? We're our own universe.
You weren't dating men before me. I don't want to hear your body count.
Yeah, but Woods is a little more. He's honest about everything. It truly is one of his greatest strengths. He can talk about his life, anything, with such honesty and openness. It's shocking to me even sometimes.
Well, look at my heroes. I mean, one of them's right here.
Yeah. And you did the same thing. You did the same thing, Dave.
I heard him playing coy about how the button works. I mean, he hasn't talked about where it is and how it. Well, where is it? Well, you know damn well where that button is.
The minute I need that is it takes two to tango, as they say. If I tried to pitch once or twice a day to my missus, it's not happening. That button or not, it's not happening. 2 kids, 7 and 4. There's no way. You don't even want to. You're exhausted all the time.
You don't practice falconry.
There's no falconry. No, definitely not.
Who knew that was the new rock star?
I know, right?
Andy said, come home smelling like dead mice and feathers all the time.
Andy says in the chat, he says, I'm sure it's hell for hosts, but radio rivalries are so entertaining. They are. They absolutely are. Mm-hmm. They absolutely are.
Talking to Dave Rickards, this guy here is always trying to dream up the next bit, the next potential memorable segment. You guys had some on your program. I want to ask you about a couple of your favorites. First, quick check of traffic with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Southbound 163 got this crash just past Kearneyville Road. Was blocking the fast lane. They managed to move it into the center divide. Then up ahead before the 52, got a crash over to the right shoulder. Also an accident on westbound 8 before the 805. Those vehicles are blocking the fast lane. Up ahead before Mission Bay Drive, another collision. Those vehicles are in the center divide. Westbound King Freeway still clearing an accident near College. Got the slow lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Feel like you, a lot of consternation. I mean, we've had Don't Do This on our show forever. You know, we got our game, Take on Woods. You're always trying to think of what's the next thing. You had some famous ones. People are in the chat sharing some of their favorites, like Lash Wednesday.
Lash Wednesday's a genius.
What were some of the origins? What were some of your favorite, your regular bits over the years on DSC?
The ones those were great. And some insane things happened during Lash Wednesday. What people will call up and tell you, my whole, the stupid bit was I pretended to be this radio reverend. You call me up, you confess to me your sin, and here's 2 tickets to the Laser Pink Floyd show or some
Circus Vargas. Here
garbage
you go.
like
Enjoy.
Yeah. Sometimes people, and so the takeoff was like confessional. And sometimes people would call up and tell me something, and they're talking to a guy with a 50,000-watt transmitter, and then later on down the line when they get in trouble, it occurs to them, wait a minute, this wasn't a secret? It's like, no,
you're on the air.
Radio.
Yeah.
You're on the air. So that was always a big surprise to them. You talked about the space shuttle landing. That was a throwaway bit. We thought that this would just be something fun to do. We had no idea that it would turn into the monumental thing that it was. Doing the joke of the day, that to me and Chainsaw and Boyer in particular, that was a thrill for us because we're all fans of 1940s and 1950s radio, which was real theater.
Yeah.
And that was an opportunity to work as a performer, as an actor with sound effects and all that other kind of stuff. So we really highly produced those things. We had a lot of fun putting those
You're like those guys who recreated the radio baseball broadcast. And You have to hit the bat, and you have the sound of the cheering and stuff because they're not really there, and they're creating it. All theater of the mind, all from scratch.
Yeah, and we love doing that.
It's so hard to stay creative. And when you think about being creative, you can't be creative. It's this personal hell that I live in almost on a daily basis because I don't want to do the normal thing, right? Of, let's talk to the beat writer for this college and we're playing this team and let's talk to their beat writer. Sometimes it's good if we have a good relationship with them and they're good on the air.
Yeah.
But I like to do things differently. We have done things differently. But, for you, man, putting this as the leader of that program, how daunting was it for you on a daily basis to be like, all right, because I asked you about this. We went and had coffee. Dave was kind enough. I was up for a job at 91X. And I really wanted it badly. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get it, but I ended up getting this soon after, and so it all worked out. But the thought of being able to carry a show is so daunting. And then to have to do it every single day creatively, how did you do it?
Dave, you should see this, man. When Ben takes one day off, he forgets when we go to break.
Oh, I forget.
Traffic.
I forget all of it.
He's like, "Do we have traffic? What are we doing here?"
I'm a wreck.
Well, it would be a mistake to not respect everybody's position.
Yeah.
You've got your spot. Ben's got his spot, and that's why you guys fit together so well. But it is a fit. You're your piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and that's what works so well. And when your piece is gone, it's incomplete.
Very much so.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Think about taking Kramer off Seinfeld.
Right.
Something would be wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's absolutely right. But when you
you talk about 91X. 91X is a great radio station, but they should stop talking to people like me and to you about bringing in a highly produced, highly creative morning show. They should just be a music radio station. I don't know what they've got a hard on over there. Maybe we could have a great radio. Stop doing that. Just be a music radio station. This is a ton better fit for you over here.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And but Dave was kind enough to join me and teach me a little bit of wisdom. And, you're telling me about kind of your process every day of planning the show. You go out onto your deck and sit down. And before it was, maybe pour a vodka cranberry or something and then get into it. But once you got sober, going out and sitting on the deck, trying to figure out the 4-hour show the next day, it is a daunting process.
That's the work. And towards the end of my career, sitting down after dinner every night, eating dinner earlier than I wanted
about 4,
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I know
and
it
then,
well.
Sitting down to work on that stuff, it got harder and harder to put all that show prep together as the ensemble crew diminished. More and more of that became my responsibility, and that is when I started going, I'm not sure if I really want to do this too much longer.
Yeah.
Doing show prep at night, my night was toast.
It's not my favorite.
I'd go home, I'd have lunch, I'd take 10 minutes to myself just to close my eyes.
Press the button a couple times. I get it. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd go outside. That was something I discovered late in my career. I'd go outside for 2 hours, be outside hiking, climbing, doing that kind of stuff. And then I get back, and it's like, it's time to put tomorrow one together. Nothing gave me more fear and anxiety than going to bed at night going, I'm not ready for tomorrow.
I'm not prepared.
Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah. I kind of like it sometimes. I need it sometimes, but it's I like the live aspect of it, the fly by the seat of your pants. But you do have to have watched the game, or you do have to have read something, have some insight on what you're going to be talking about. Some days I fall short miserably, but you give it the old college try. But it is daunting.
The thing that I would run into all the time is I would have a bit the night before. I'm like, this is going to kill.
Yeah,
and I'd get there the next flop. Nothing. It goes nowhere. Well, what do I do now? I was counting on that.
Yes.
10 minutes later, we're talking about something that becomes the bit that carries us for 3 hours that I thought was garbage that we'd throw away. And that would happen more times than I could possibly count on.
I love that.
Did you had to serve sort of Pauly's role as well, right? You were in some of the controls and pushing some of the...
I did them all. You
did all the buttons.
I wouldn't let
stuff.
anybody touch them.
That's what I thought. What was that aspect of it like also including...
ego and power and just maniac.
We're lucky. We have Pauly, who's a whiz on. I mean, we don't have to look at him. I mean, we think it, and he's already pushing the right buttons, which is amazing.
You can't buy that. You can't buy that kind of talent. That kind of just that ethereal connection that you've got like that. And I love production values. I loved mixing and doing all that crap and being in control. And in my mind, no one could do it better than I could do it, so I had to be in charge of that stuff.
I love that, man. Dave Rickards joins us from the DSC and now doing some podcasting.
Yes.
And it's a totally different medium.
It is.
Totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you get to say curse words, which is very attractive to me. Very attractive.
It is, but that is by far not the best part of podcasting. Podcasting to me is a lot like radio, obviously, for obvious reasons, but... you don't have to deal with the difficulties that everybody has to deal with. Big corp, everyone who's going to work today in a big corporation, having to deal with all the middle management and all that kind of nonsense. Podcasters can often be their own bosses, and all you answer to is the sponsors. And I never had a problem with sponsors. I loved going out to meet clients with our sales team. Later in my career, I got into that. I really enjoyed that kind of thing. So. Being away from the corporate stuff is a breath of fresh air.
I love dealing with middle management and corporations.
It's
really my favorite part.
He's really good at it. Yeah, me not so much, but he's really good at it.
So I got hooked up with Mike Costa, who's been around for a long time.
I've worked with
Mike. My last program director, Shauna Moran.
Love Shauna.
And she's the Frankenstein who put this thing together. She called me up one day and said, what if we do a radio show together? And in my head, I'm going, that sounds awful. This isn't going to work.
You were my boss. Adam, our boss. I don't want to do a podcast with Adam.
I'm like, you're not a broadcast, you're a program director. Program directors are the worst. They're the absolute worst people on the face of the earth. They suck. I hate program. This ain't going to work, but, I got nothing else to do. Let's at least get together and have lunch. So we got together, and I was like, well, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. So we decided, let's do a little practice thing. We'll Zoom, and we'll see if we got any kind of chemistry, which we won't, because chemistry, like you two guys have, you can't put a dollar figure on that. And I was like, this is going to be terrible. Sean is going to suck. Costa, he's just awful. I mean, we did this show. I was like, wow, that's a show that people who've been together for 5 years were doing right there. So one thing leads to another. Next thing I know, we got a podcast.
I love it, man. I love it.
And they're great. They're really great.
They're great people. I know them both very well. Shauna hired me for, a part-time role over there. And again, it was not getting that gig there, which I thought was going to be the end of my world. And I almost walked away from radio and was going to quit. My wife wouldn't let me. She would not let me quit. And then that's when I met Ben. And, the rest is history. So
God bless her for knowing better.
Yeah, 100%, man. Mm-hmm. Dave Rickards is here. We're almost out of time, but this has been the quickest hour of radio I think we've ever done, because you have a pro like Dave Rickards in here that just carries our ass for an entire hour.
Yeah,
which is
I'm probably supposed to tease what's coming up on the program tomorrow, but I feel like whatever it is going to be a massive disappointment.
100%. Let's replay this. Let's replay
early
this
in the show tomorrow.
Early in the show tomorrow.
Who missed it because they had to go to work at 9 a.m. This is our 6 o'clock hour tomorrow. Unless Roki Sasaki announces a decision, you know, between now and 6 a.m., we may have to replay this tomorrow. I know they always say you don't want to meet your heroes because they always disappoint, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Dave, we really appreciate
Thank you so much.
You coming in, and this was a real treat for us and the audience, and I know a lot of your audience that's in here as well that really miss you guys on the air. But as Wood said earlier, thank you for stepping aside and giving other people a chance at some point.
Finally make some money. I mean, Jesus, I was never going to sniff a ratings bonus as long as this guy was on the radio. So,
boy,
go
get him.
We miss you, certainly, and thanks so much for doing this. This has been an incredible, incredible treat.
I'm flattered to be invited. Thank you very much.
Just a warning, when you walk out that door, you know what's going to happen. All the salespeople who heard you were in here are going to have to go glad hand you and see what's going on.
I'm glad to meet them.
We'll try to protect you as you walk out, but thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
That's the music. It means it's time for us to go. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for our executive producer, Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods and Dave Rickards. Wow, that was really cool. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.